When my wealthy parents came to get me, I didn't act like I did in my past life, enduring the countless wounds from my adoptive parents' beatings without saying a single word. Instead, I chose to slam my head against a wall and faint so that my biological parents would see my miserable state, because I already knew that my adoptive parents were the real culprits who swapped me with the fake young master all those years ago. But my wealthy parents were completely unaware. They even thanked them by giving them a large sum of money. This life, I have no intention of letting this wicked adoptive couple off so easily. So when my adoptive mother came up to call for me, I completely ignored her and chose to continue feigning unconsciousness, as expected. After a few fake calls, she couldn't keep up the act. A second later, she started shaking me violently, her grip tightening on my arm. At that exact moment, I heard hurried footsteps from downstairs. My biological parents were here. My adoptive mother immediately snatched her hand back, frozen stiff with fear. Right after, a powerful force shoved her away. My biological father burst in, his face radiating killing intent. When he saw me huddled in rags, looking more miserable than a stray cat, his eyes instantly turned red. My biological mother, Liu Ru, who followed him, covered her mouth, shedding tears of disbelief. The next second, a pair of large hands carefully lifted me up. This embrace was so warm it shook my heart. You must know, in my past life, he had never held anyone. Not even the pampered fake young master, Chen Yu. He only dared to occasionally pull on his hand. He gently handed me over to Butler Wang. However, an even more astonishing scene occurred. Butler Wang, who always helped Chen Yu in my past life, was now holding me, his eyes filled with pity. I immediately perked up my ears, eavesdropping. How would Father Chen deal with that wicked couple? Seeing my miserable state, the large sum of money from my previous life was probably off the table. Just as I predicted, Father Chen suppressed his anger. He didn't want two pieces of scum to tarnish my name with accusations of ingratitude, so he still decided to give them money. Only, this amount was just 1/10 of what it was in my past life. Thank you for raising him. Father Chen said thanks, but his gaze was bone-chillingly cold. Then he turned to Assistant Zhu, whispering a few words into his ear. I quickly shut my eyes, continuing to feign sleep. The car slowly started. That greedy couple, as expected, complained that 1 million was too little, but a single glance from the assistant scared them witless. The car was dead silent. Suddenly, Father Chen's weary voice broke the silence. Aru, I know you dote on Xiao Yu, but Xiao Fan is our biological son. You must make it up to him more. Mother Chen's voice carried a hint of grievance and stubbornness. She said Xiao Yu was also the son she raised, but she promised that what was rightfully mine wouldn't be short a single cent. Right after, I felt Mother Chen's gaze fall upon me. It softened. She looked past my grimy face and saw the spitting image of a young Chen Zhe. I had intended to keep eavesdropping, but the butler's arms were just too warm. The car swayed gently on the mountain road. My body, having just recovered from a fever, was already very weak, and so I actually fell asleep. When I woke up, it was already the next day. Opening my eyes, I was met with a gentle white color. Where is this? I rubbed my head. Only then did I remember everything that happened yesterday. I had died and been reincarnated, and I was taken away by my biological parents, but this wasn't the Chen family home. I felt a bit suspicious. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through the back of my hand. I looked down. An IV needle was stuck in the back of my hand. Blood had already backed up into the tube, a bright red patch. It turns out I was in the hospital. At that moment, a nurse pushed open the door. Oh, you're awake. Her voice was gentle, afraid of startling me. Don't be scared, little one. I've already notified your parents. What I didn't know was that my medical report had already caused a huge storm in the Chen household. Long-term malnutrition, multiple bruises all over my body, a slight fracture in my right arm. There were even old whip marks on my back. After reading the report, Father Chen Zhe, furiously slammed it onto the table. I let them off too easily. Meanwhile, Mother Chen, Liu Ru, threw herself into Father Chen's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Father Chen held her, but a vicious glint flashed in his eyes. He swore he would definitely make it up to me. As for that pair of trash, had let them go for now, but if they dared to act up again, he would make them pay back everything, with interest. The moment I woke up, the atmosphere in the Chen family dining room turned strange. Butler Wang announced that I had woken up. The 4 people at the dining table immediately had different expressions. Father Chen immediately quickened his pace of eating, then stood up and left. Mother Chen had a flustered expression, not knowing how to face the situation, but she didn't see that her most beloved son, Chen Yu, had a flash of intense hatred in his eyes. Why did he have to come back? If he hadn't come back, I would be the only young master of this family. A second later, Chen Yu smiled. Mom, is little brother awake? I want to go see him. But in his heart, he was thinking, I have to let this country bumpkin know who the real master here is. Why are you going to see him? His older sister, Chen Jing, sitting opposite him, was immediately displeased. In her heart, only Chen Yu was her younger brother, who needed another country bumpkin, but Chen Yu feigned a pitiful look. But little brother is so pitiful. Chen Jing immediately wavered. Then she decided, fine, I'll go too. Just like that, a formidable group made their way to the hospital. Meanwhile, I was eating the warm porridge the nurse had brought. This luxurious hospital room. In my past life, I only saw it when Chen Yu was sick. When I was at the Zhang's house, sick to the point of death, I could only go to a small clinic, and I was even scolded for it. Thinking of the hardships I had endured, my eyes turned ice cold. The real young master, like me, suffered outside, while Chen Yu, the son of a criminal, enjoyed everything that was originally mine. Reborn, I had already seen through it all. Mother Chen, Liu Ru, had favored Chen Yu for over a decade. She definitely wouldn't give him up easily. But so what? In my last life, Chen Yu stepped all over me, step by step, solidifying his position as the good son. After I left for university, he forged my diary, framing me for running away for a girl, making father and mother Chen completely disappointed in me. My monthly living expenses were only 1/10 of his allowance. It took me a whole lifetime to see his true colors. This life, I already have a plan. Chen Yu, isn't your entire backing Mother Chen's favoritism? Whatever you want most, I will be the one to destroy it. I was lowering my head to eat my porridge, when the hospital room door was suddenly pushed open. A noisy group of people walked in. Xiao Fan, Mother Chen, Liu Ru, was the first to rush to my bedside. Her eyes were filled with concern. Father Chen Jie, stood to one side, his stern face holding a trace of gentleness. But my sister, Chen Jing, plopped down on the sofa, picking up an apple and taking a bite, her face full of disdain. So that's the country bumpkin brother. Father Chen shot her a cold glance. She immediately sat up straight, dropping her casual demeanor. Right after, Mother Chen took my hand. It was just skin and bones. Her heart ached terribly. Xiao Fan, I am your mother, your real mother. This is your father, your sister, and this is your brother. When she introduced Chen Yu, she clearly paused. She began to explain in a low voice how I was stolen, and how hard they had searched. After listening to it all, on my thin face, my unusually large eyes immediately welled up with tears. I asked, with a tremble, so, my parents won't hit me? I can also go to school. Those tears looked as if they could shatter at any moment. Yes, you can have it all. Mother Chen couldn't hold back anymore. She pulled me into a tight embrace, sobbing. But at that very moment, Chen Yu saw that the situation was not good. He also rushed to the bedside. Oh, my poor little brother. Mother Chen's heart instantly softened. She immediately let go of me to comfort him instead. Everyone thought he was sad for me. Only I saw the provocative glance he shot my way. My tears immediately fell. Mom, were you lying to me just now? Mother Chen was startled. She immediately let go of Chen Yu. How could I lie to you? You really are my biological son. But the tears in my eyes only grew. But just now, you said he was your third son, but I am not. So you were lying to me. Mother Chen immediately panicked. She hastily explained, you are my biological son. This brother is my. I put on a doubtful expression again. My shoulders trembled. Really? Father Chen, standing beside us, couldn't watch anymore. He told me everything directly. He told me that it was Chen Yu's biological mother who caused me to be stranded outside. After hearing this, I hugged my pillow and buried my face in it. Does Mom not want me? Does she like him more? Maybe I should just go back. Father Chen immediately made a decision. I was the son of the Chen family. He was, at most, an adopted son. After saying that, he turned and left. Seeing this, Mother Chen also found an excuse to slip away. The moment our parents left, Chen Yu immediately showed his true colors. Are you happy now, you jinx? He yelled in my face and then ran out too. Only my sister, Chen Jing, remained in the room. She awkwardly scratched her head. I am your second sister, Chen Jing. She suddenly broke into a bright smile. If anyone bullies you from now on, just tell me. I've got your back. I was momentarily surprised. In my past life, she protected Chen Yu and loathed me to the extreme. It seems playing the victim this life worked quite well. I gave her a smile. Unexpectedly, her face filled with terror. She fumbled to peel a banana and handed it to me. I only found out later that back then, I was both thin and dark-skinned. That smile, in her eyes, looked exactly like a cursed doll from a horror movie. At that moment, Mother Chen pushed the door open with a smile. Sweetheart, the doctor said you are fine. Let's go home. I nodded obediently. Soon, the whole family got me into the car. Chen Jing, who had always sat with Chen Yu, but this time, she took the initiative to sit next to me. In the rearview mirror, Chen Yu was so angry he gritted his teeth. The hatred in his eyes was unconcealed. All of this was seen by Father Chen. His gaze immediately turned cold. The genes of a rat are truly worthless. The car drove through S-City and into the Rose Garden Villa area. A massive French-style castle appeared before my eyes. The butler had already led all the servants to stand in 2 lines. "Welcome home, young master." The car door opened. The welcoming ceremony that Father Chen had specially prepared for me was shockingly extravagant. He wanted everyone to know that the real young master of the Chen family was back. Father Chen and Mother Chen got out of the car first. Then, Chen Yu also quickly got out. I saw Chen Yu, in disbelief, thinking his strict father was giving him such great face. He was panicking inside, but on the outside, he appeared calm, as if he was still the one and only young master of the Chen family. But I knew. Everyone in the Chen family knew clearly that the young master was about to change. Chen Jing even signaled to me, indicating for me to appear last, so I slowly got out of the car. Though I was frail, my entire being exuded the aura of a master. That innate noble aura couldn't be hidden. I wouldn't have dared to imagine any of this in my past life. In my past life, when Father Chen brought me back, he just directly shoved me into the Chen household. No one cared about me. The fracture in my arm left me with lifelong complications. The attitude of the head of the household determines everything. In my past life, they didn't value me, so the servants followed suit and were negligent. Chen Yu trampled me under his feet even more. I became more and more timid, and they grew increasingly impatient with me. But this life is completely different. I made the first move. I used my weakness to gain my parents' sympathy. I am the real young master who has suffered all kinds of hardships, the true victim. As for Chen Yu, he has become the fake young master who bullies the weak. Looking at the expressive Chen Yu in front of me, my eyes turned ice cold. Stepping through this door, our debt is only just beginning to be settled. Chen Yu seemed to feel a chill. He suddenly turned his head back, but only saw my timid appearance. The corner of his mouth curled into a mocking smile. Country bumpkin, truly worthless. But at that very moment, the butler ran to Mother Chen's side and whispered a few words. Mother Chen's smile immediately froze. She became a little awkward. She pulled me along, forcing a smile. "Xiao Fan, Mom will take you to your room." I already understood in my heart the place she was taking me was the guest room I had lived in for over a decade in my past life. It seemed they still hadn't had time to prepare a new room for me. The 3rd floor of the Chen house was where the young masters lived. Chen Yu's room wasn't just spacious, it also had a private walk-in closet. In my past life, he relied on playing the victim to occupy the room that was originally mine. But this life, I am afraid the situation would be different. As expected, Father Chen had followed. He directly cut Mother Chen off. "I'll stay here for now. My room will have to wait until it's cleared out and redecorated." Mother Chen hesitated. A flash of panic appeared in her eyes, because when she turned, she saw Chen Yu at the top of the stairs. Chen Yu's eyes widened in disbelief. Mom had clearly agreed with him. Why did she suddenly change her mind? He didn't want to move out of that luxurious bedroom. He wanted everyone to know that he was the 3rd young master. Unfortunately, Father Chen had spoken. Mother Chen could only accept it. I watched Chen Yu's expression with interest, as it went from shock to indignation, and finally, to a complete loss of control. He ignored the presence of his parents, turned, and ran back to his room. He slammed the door shut with a bang. So, he's finally lost it. I sneered inwardly, but I absolutely did not dare to underestimate him. One must always be wary of a venomous snake that can kill. Father Chen's face was ashen. He coldly uttered 3 words. "No discipline." Chen Yu locked himself in his room, wishing he could make me disappear from this world. He even resented his own biological mother. Why didn't she just drown you back then? If Mother Chen knew that her pampered adopted son harbored such malicious thoughts, I wonder what she would think. But very quickly, Chen Yu calmed down. He washed his face, composed himself, and slowly walked downstairs. He went to Mother Chen's side. With red-rimmed eyes, he said softly, "Mom, I was wrong. I'll move out right away for little brother." Mother Chen's heart immediately ached as she pulled him down to sit. "It's okay, sweetheart. The guest room downstairs isn't small. You can decide about your own room." Then Mother Chen said again, "All right, we were just discussing your brother's schooling. We are the same age. We can go to Peiyuan School together." Peiyuan School is the top aristocratic school in S-City. Not only do I have the wealthy, but also the top students in the city. But this school was originally just a place for the city government to put on a show. But this so-called pure academic environment was just a facade put up by the school's board of directors. There are only 2 types of people at this school. 40% are genuine top students, while the remaining 60% are all children of influential figures in S-City. To put it bluntly, it's ranked by family background, admitting people based on quotas, and the children of the Chen family naturally had nothing to worry about. Father Chen had invested a large sum of money in this school. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say our family built it. Because of this, my past self, in this very school, endured the most brutal school bullying, and no one dared to intervene. Cold violence, threats, being cornered in the bathroom. I was tormented until I became withdrawn and silent. My grades plummeted. I barely managed to scrape by and get into a second-rate university. Who would have thought that, at the lowest point of my life, there would be a turning point? I met my master there, a professor of traditional medicine. He saw that I was hardworking and honest, and taught me everything he knew. Only then did I escape from the shadows, using a lifetime of medical skills to save countless people. Now, fate repeats itself. They still want to send me to Peiyuan school, that place overflowing with power. If power is what speaks here, then this life, well, see who truly holds the right to speak. My gaze was as cold as ice. I stared directly at Chen Yu. His eyes were also filled with venomous resentment, not showing any weakness. The tables have been turned. The veil has been torn. In this new battlefield, well, see who can seize the advantage. As expected, Chen Yu immediately made things difficult. Mom, Peiyuan's curriculum moves very quickly. Has little brother ever gone to school over there? His face was full of concern, but his tone was dripping with calculation. Mother Chen, as expected, hesitated. That's right. When I was brought back, there were absolutely no signs that I had been attending school. She had even been to the small attic I lived in. Besides a few workbooks that weren't age-appropriate, there was nothing. She began to doubt if I could go straight into the 7th grade. I sneered inwardly. This trick again. Chen Yu did the same thing in our past life, making everyone think I was a bad student, forcing me to repeat from the 5th grade. I became the only older kid in the class, enduring all kinds of isolation and bullying, because the Zhang parents, truly not wanting me to be better than their son, had kept me out of school for a whole year, but they didn't know that I had friends secretly bring me textbooks. Zhang Qiang also always forced me to do his homework for him. At 11 years old, I had even mastered 7th and 8th grade material. All of this, my past self never had a chance to say. Back then, in their eyes, I was just a country bumpkin who was both rustic and stupid. Xiao Yu's persistent questions had made an annoyed Mother Chen decide immediately. But now, it's different. I faced Chen Yu's stronger malice, with a perfectly clear mind. Mom, my grades aren't bad. Although they didn't let me go to school for a year, I always studied on my own. I could even help Zhang Qiang with his 2nd grade homework. My voice gradually grew softer. My small hands clenched on my knees. I am not like what Brother Xiao Yu said. My voice was filled with grievance, my eyes welling up with tears, as if I had suffered a great injustice. Chen Yu immediately panicked. He hurriedly explained, Mom, I wasn't doubting little brother. I just felt that the education in that small place. He was afraid of displeasing Father and Mother Chen, so rushed that his words became jumbled. Suddenly, he thought of something else. What about English? More than half of the classes at Peiyuan are taught in English. Is little brother's English good enough? I am afraid he won't be able to understand. He had grasped my weak point and attacked again. This time, I didn't refute it. I lowered my head and said dejectedly, my English isn't very good. If I have to learn entirely in English, it will be a bit difficult. But I immediately raised my head again, pretending to be calm. But I learned very quickly. The vocabulary of a grade 8 lesson, I can memorize it in one night. I looked at Mother Chen seriously. My gaze was firm. If I study hard this summer, I can definitely enter middle school. Mother Chen looked at me and finally agreed. I'll hire the best English tutor for you, but what grade you'll be in next semester will depend on the teacher's evaluation after 2 months. She had given me a chance to prove myself. After all, the young master of the Chen family couldn't be a complete ignoramus in the classroom. Soon, dinner was served, filling the table. Western food, healthy cuisine, Sichuan dishes, everyone had their own preference. The whole family took their seats one by one. Father Chen gestured for me to sit to his left, a key position. But just as I was about to go over, Chen Yu spoke up coldly, That's eldest sister's seat. I immediately stopped in my tracks, a panicked expression on my face, like a child who had done something wrong. Seeing this, Mother Chen smiled and asked me what I liked to eat. My health was poor, so I paid great attention to healthy eating. So, I quietly said, I liked the dish in front of her. Mother Chen was pleased. Her smile immediately became gentler. Then sit next to me. But Chen Yu, next to her, flared up. Mom, that's my seat. Father Chen shot him a cold glance. Chen Yu was instantly like a strangled chicken, trembling. He reined in his temper. Little brother is sitting there. Where do I sit? He pouted aggrievedly. Mother Chen was also getting annoyed. She had the temperament of a pampered lady. Coaxing him once or twice was fine, but any more, and she would lose patience. There are many other seats, just pick one. After saying that, she had a servant add a chair for me next to her, giving Chen Yu absolutely no chance to cause trouble. Even though Chen Yu knew, seeing her expression, he knew Mother Chen had been moved. He had no choice but to dejectedly sit down opposite me. The family rules were strict, but not harsh. I didn't care how upset Chen Yu was. I just enjoyed the delicious food on my own. Seeing that my taste in food was similar to hers, and that I ate with a good appetite, her fondness for me grew a little more. The meal ended in silence. I walked 2 laps around the villa to aid digestion, then I went upstairs to sleep. The next day, I woke up in a room that was both familiar and strange, the same bed, but a completely different mood. In my past life, I went from an ugly duckling who was beaten and scolded at will to becoming the young master of the wealthiest family overnight. That joy and fear echoed in my heart for a long time. But now, having been through ups and downs, I no longer had any illusions about the life of the wealthy. But that didn't mean I would resign myself to fate. From the moment I was reborn, I swore to show Chen Yu, the cuckoo who occupied the nest, who the real young master of the Chen family was. The key lay with Mother Chen Liu Ru. As long as she still doted on Chen Yu would be able to continue being arrogant. Although Father Chen had a say, he would absolutely not, over such a small matter, cause Mother Chen to lose face. Organizing my thoughts, my path forward became clear. Relying on nearly 30 years of experience from my past life, how could I not beat a mere Chen Yu? In this life, I have the advantage. I must completely reverse the situation. Right now, the most important thing besides winning favor is recuperation. This body, which has been weak for over 10 years, cannot be like in the previous life, leaving behind incurable after effects. But what reason should I use to display my miraculous medical skills? Where would a 1-2-year-old child get a prescription? I fell into deep thought. Forget it. I won't think about these things for now. The urgent task is to go downstairs for breakfast. Health is the most important thing. I can't skip any meal. It was just past 6 o'clock. There was no one in the dining room except for the servants. I didn't care either. Nothing was more important than eating properly. I knew that breakfast in the Chen family was an important social occasion. But in my previous life, I was like an outsider. I didn't dare to speak, couldn't answer questions, and was even ostracized by Chen Yu. Over time, I stopped even appearing at the breakfast table. Acting petty made Father Chen very dissatisfied. I pushed the memories aside and headed towards the kitchen. The chef was preparing a lavish breakfast, combining both Chinese and Western dishes. There was everything you could imagine. Seeing me, she hurriedly put down her spoon. "Fourth, young master, may I ask what you would like to eat?" The chef's attitude was extremely respectful. After all, with everything that happened yesterday, everyone in the Chen household, from top to bottom, saw it clearly. They all understood that this newly arrived 4th young master was probably no ordinary character. Even the 3rd young master, Chen Yu, who usually lorded it over everyone, had suffered a great loss. Who would dare to be neglectful? I even saw a hint of flattery in the chef's eyes. She seemed to be cooking porridge. So, I casually asked, "What kind of porridge are you making this morning?" Hearing this, the chef immediately brightened up. "It's the healthy yam porridge that the madam often eats." "Would the young master like a bowl?" "Then give me a bowl, please." I turned and went back to the dining room, sitting in the same seat as last night. The chef quickly brought a hot bowl of porridge. She asked carefully, "Young master, would you like anything else to eat?" "No, thank you. A bowl of porridge is enough," I answered patiently. I picked up the spoon and stirred the porridge. Then I noticed the chef was still standing in place. I tilted my head to look at her. "You can go back to the kitchen and work now." Only then did she obediently return to the kitchen. Looking at her retreating figure, I felt a sense of daze. In my past life, in the entire Chen family, the only person who gave me warmth was this very chef. She wasn't particularly capable, only having a talent for making wonderful desserts. She was grateful and wanted to repay kindness. She saw every master in the Chen family as a benefactor, including the unfavored biological son, me. The fact that I was able to eat in my past life was all thanks to her secret care. This debt of kindness, I have remembered it. I took small sips of the porridge. It was still the same familiar, bland taste. This was Mother Chen's favorite dish. It was also the porridge I often drank in my past life. A bowl of hot porridge filled my stomach, and my body immediately felt energized. I wanted to go for a run, but this body was still too weak. But waking up early had become a habit. If I couldn't run, walking was also good. I had just put down the bowl when I saw Father Chen coming downstairs in sportswear. He looked surprised. Up so early? He saw the empty bowl in front of me. It was just a little past 7 o'clock. "I am used to it," I replied calmly. He suddenly remembered that I didn't even have a phone or a computer. My clothes were also temporarily prepared by the butler. He frowned. His voice carried a tone of guilt. "Today, have your mother take you shopping for some things. Phone, computer, clothes, shoes. Buy whatever you want." "Yes?" I answered obediently. He was about to go for his morning exercise. I followed behind him. He turned back and asked, "Where are you going?" I said helplessly, "I am going for a walk in the garden. The doctor said I have to exercise. Satisfaction flickered in his eyes again. A man who had been self-disciplined for over 40 years, his physique was still comparable to male celebrities. He didn't say anything more this time, turned, and ran outside. I strolled slowly in the garden, considering it a very low-intensity morning exercise. After one lap, my forehead was beaded with sweat. For this frail body, this amount of exercise was considered adequate. I went back to my room to wash up, changed into dry clothes, and went downstairs again. By this time, the dining room was full. Seeing me come downstairs, Chen Yu immediately took the opportunity to mock, "Little brother, why are you just waking up now? Everyone in our family wakes up very early." Before I could even open my mouth, Father Chen cut him off. "Xiao Fan has already finished eating. He woke up even earlier than me." His voice, tinged with laughter, stunned the entire room. Chen Yu shot me a fierce glare and ate his meal in silent anger. Father Chen took advantage of everyone being present to suggest that Mother Chen take me to the mall. Only then did Mother Chen realize her oversight with a start. She quickly said they would go right after the meal. Hearing this, Chen Yu immediately said he wanted to go too. He thought smugly to himself, "This is a good chance to see your country bumpkin look. How you've never seen the world." Chen Jing also said she wanted to go. Mother Chen was enthusiastic. "Then let's all go together. It's a good chance for the whole family to go shopping." Just then, Father Chen suddenly called me over. He took a black card out of his vest pocket. "I was originally going to give you a card like your siblings, but it's not ready yet. Just use this one for now. Buy whatever you want. For the past dozen years, I owe you. I'll make it up to you all at once." I took the black card, shaken to the core. This was the most exclusive black card jointly issued by the world's three largest banks. One had to have an astonishing amount of assets to possess it. In my previous life, I had only seen this card when Mother Chen used it. Even the most spoiled Chen Yu had to ask his parents for spending money. Although Chen Jing was surprised, she felt it was to be expected. However, Chen Yu beside them, his eyes were wide open. It was undisguised shock and anger. A black card, something he didn't even dare to dream of. Extreme anger made him lose his appetite. He muttered a few perfunctory words, then excused himself to change clothes, and went back to his room. Of course, it was the guest room on the second floor. His room on the third floor was now mine. Looking at the small room crammed with miscellaneous things, nothing he saw pleased him. He grabbed a doll on the bed and furiously threw it around to vent his anger. Until he calmed down, he sat on the bed. A vicious plan gradually formed in his mind. At the same time, Chen Jing and I were watching TV in the living room, waiting for Mother to put on her makeup. She held the remote, not knowing what to do. She finally chose an entertainment show. I didn't mind either way. Anything was fine. After all, I just wanted to play the role of an obedient, understanding child. This awkward silence didn't last long. Mother finally came downstairs carrying her custom designer bag. Chen Yu also timed it perfectly and opened his door, meeting Mother on the stairs. He linked arms with her and walked down, acting out a scene of deep mother-son affection. We followed them outside. Chen Jing naturally took Mother's bag. Mother gave a slight smile. She just wanted to show the ladies in the neighborhood that she had two sons accompanying her and also a beautiful daughter to carry her bag. More than 20 minutes later, we arrived at Xing Sing Mall. As soon as the driver stopped the car, 4 bodyguards immediately got out of a car next to us. They stood guard beside our car. Their professional demeanor immediately attracted a crowd of onlookers, but our whole family was long used to it. We walked into the mall with calm expressions. For me, this feeling of being protected by bodyguards while shopping was somewhat novel. Who would have thought that Chen Yu beside me, seeing that I wasn't intimidated by the scene, had a look of utter disappointment, but he quickly broke into a sinister smile. He felt the real show was yet to come. Today, he was determined to let me know who the real young master was. We quickly entered an electronics store. The store manager was very discerning. He recognized Mother's high status at a glance, and immediately welcomed us warmly. But Mother paid him no mind. Instead, she turned to me and said, "Son, take a look. Tell me what you like." Only after saying that did she turn to the manager. "Bring out all the latest products." The manager wanted to invite us into the VIP room, but I didn't want such a hassle. I pointed directly at a poster on the wall and said, "No need." The latest model phone on the poster, the tablet, and the computer get me one of each. The highest configuration, I added. Then I turned to Mother, giving her an understanding smile. "Mom, there's no need for such trouble. This is fine." As expected, Mother was very pleased. Compared to choosing electronics, she would much rather browse her favorite brands. The manager quickly packed everything up. Mother took out the black card and handed it over. Swipe. Sign. It was all done in one smooth motion. It wasn't until we left that the manager breathed a sigh of relief. Next stop was a top luxury fashion store that Mother frequented. This time, We were taken directly to the VIP room. I followed without a word. Mother sipped her coffee and flipped through a catalog. In one go, she ordered over a dozen outfits. She looked up and told the manager, "It's not for Xiao Yu, it's for my younger son." The manager quickly took my measurements, secretly thinking I was so thin I could only wear the smallest children's size. Soon, a rack of clothes was wheeled in. Mother personally picked an outfit and handed it to me, gently telling me to go change. I stepped into the fitting room, looking at my completely new self in the mirror. I couldn't help but marvel. As expected of a top-world designer, wearing this outfit, my appearance also resembled that of a rich young master. I stepped out. Mother was extremely pleased. She immediately handed me a second outfit. Just like that, I tried on several outfits in all sorts of styles. At this moment, I suddenly understood Chen Yu's obsession with the status of a young master of the Chen family. Chen Yu, beside me, was unbearably jealous. He started whining to Mother, demanding new clothes. Mother also casually picked out 2 outfits for him. The moment I came out in a black sportswear set, Mother's expression changed. She had originally intended to pick a light blue for me, but looking at my sallow skin, she changed it to black instead. It was also at this moment that Mother suddenly thought of something. Her expression changed slightly. On the 15th of next month is the regular family gathering at the old residence. This time, it happens to be second aunt's birthday. Although it won't be a grand celebration, there will be a small party. This would probably be my first official appearance before everyone. Mother looked at my frail figure. She only had 2 thoughts in her mind. She had to nourish me well, and second, she should order a few suits for me. An idea immediately formed in her mind. But these things wouldn't solve the immediate problem. So she turned and instructed the manager, "According to my sister's measurements, bring a few women's outfits here." After Chen Yu and I finished trying on clothes, Mother pulled my sister to start changing. Seeing this, Chen Yu knew his chance had come. He pretended to look down at his phone, then ran up to Mother. With a look of concern for me, "Mom, Xiao Deng is also at the mall. I want to introduce my little brother to him." Mother was touched when she heard this. Why wouldn't she agree to this? She hoped Chen Yu could introduce me into the social circle of the second generation in S City. Seeing Mother agree, without waiting for my reaction, he grabbed my wrist and ran outside. Mother watched the 2 of us run off, and sighed. The kids are grown up and don't like to go shopping with their mother anymore. But she had no idea that I was only going because I was too weak and couldn't break free from his grip. I also didn't want to cause a scene with him in public. I had no choice but to follow him. I wanted to see what trick he, after holding it in all morning, finally wanted to pull. He dragged me, running like a madman, and barged into another luxury store. This store mainly sold handbags and watches and a small selection of high-end tailored clothing. Chen Yu irritably flung my hand away and stood there panting. A boy in a high-end, custom-made green shirt was being protected by 2 bodyguards in the middle of the store. "Xiao Deng, this is the little brother I told you about, the one we just brought home." Chen Yu pointed at me and winked at the boy named Du Zideng. Du Zideng understood immediately. He immediately put on an arrogant attitude. "So this is the young master of the Chen family from the countryside?" His tone was full of contempt and disdain. "Uncle Chen and Aunt Liu Ru, how could they have such an ugly son like you?" His gaze swept across the store, finally landing on my face. "Country bumpkin, how dare you come to a place like this? I bet you can't even afford the cheapest item." After saying that, he covered his mouth and burst out laughing. Chen Yu also joined in with a mocking smile. I understood at once. This wasn't some headless fly buzzing around. This was clearly a premeditated act. They just wanted to humiliate me, make me feel inferior, so I wouldn't dare argue with him anymore. In that case, ill play along. I immediately lowered my eyes, feigning the awkward appearance of someone who had never seen the world. "I came here with my older brother." Chen Yu was, as expected, extremely smug. The smile on his face grew wider, but he didn't see in my downcast eyes the cold, indifferent smile. Chen Yu spoke with false sincerity. "Xiao Deng, you can't talk to my little brother like that. He hasn't seen the world. He doesn't have the money to buy these luxury items either." His mouth was apologizing, but his face was full of mockery, just as I expected of him. Still the same low-class tricks. I sneered inwardly, but continued to play my part. With a timid expression, "Older brother is right. I can't afford it." I lowered my head even more, but Du Ziding pressed on. "You're not fooling me, are you? You're the most doted-on 4th young master of the Chen family. You can't even afford this. How can you dare call yourself a member of the Chen family in the future? You're embarrassing the Chen family." If this were my past life, I would have already been pressured into utter humiliation. But now, I saw through their cheap taunts. Childish, I thought, amused. I decided to play along with them. The next second, I suddenly raised my head. My eyes were red. My voice trembled, but it was firm. "If I buy it, can I say, I am a member of the Chen family? Is that right?" Then, ill by it, my small figure stood before them, using so-called dignity to resist the humiliation. Du Zidong was about to burst out laughing at me. You don't think that being a rich young master just means you can afford one luxury item, do you? Xiao Yu and I, with just 1 month's allowance, can buy several items. What about you? Chen Yu chimed in smugly. He had completely forgotten one important thing. I found it even funnier in my heart, but I continued to play my part, putting on a flustered expression from being provoked. I blushed and looked around helplessly. The staff all avoided my gaze, pretending they saw nothing. Du Zidong saw the time was ripe, and decided to deliver the final blow. As long as he made me lose face in public, Chen Yu would owe him a favor. So you really don't get it? Then let me choose for you, he said as he walked around the store. This one, and that one. Wrap them all up. He told the staff to wrap up everything he pointed at. Next, he walked towards the jewelry section. There, even a small piece of jewelry cost tens of thousands. He thought, it's Chen Yu's game anyway. With him backing me up, I am not afraid. So he pointed at a men's necklace in the display case, and said calmly, take this one in. The case too. And that necklace over there. That was a necklace that Du Zidong wouldn't even dare to ask his own parents for. He felt that this time he could definitely crush my self-esteem. So he stopped, turned around, and walked up to me. Fourth, young Master Chen, I've been choosing for half a day. It's time to pay up. He looked at me with a provocative expression. That look on his face seemed to say, I am bullying you. What can you do about it? Chen Yu immediately added fuel to the fire, pretending to be anxious. Xiao Deng, these things are very expensive. What if my little brother can't afford them? He then turned to me, pretending to be in a difficult position. Little brother, you've caused trouble. They've already wrapped it up, so I can't not take it. My brother doesn't have enough money and has to go find Mom. Mom will definitely be furious. It really looks like a good older brother causing trouble for his younger brother, and being flustered, not knowing what to do. I couldn't be bothered to waste any more time on them. The anger and helplessness on my face instantly vanished. In its place was a nonchalant expression, as calm as floating clouds and flowing water. I glanced at the store manager beside me. I opened my mouth listlessly. Where do I swipe the card? The next second, I took a card out of my pocket, a black card that made everyone's expression change. Chen Yu instantly came to his senses. He remembered, this morning, Father Chen had given me a black card. Just because I had no reaction to the black card, he had actually forgotten about it. Everything he did had become useless. Not only did he fail to embarrass me, he actually helped me build an image of a wealthy person in the store, the prestige of a young master. The gazes of the surrounding customers all changed. That's a black card. Someone who could produce a black card and also had the surname Chen. Insidious. There's only that one family. They wouldn't dare to watch that family's drama. The crowd immediately dispersed. The most shocked person was Du Zidong. He thought I was really just a country bumpkin. He didn't expect the Chen family to even give me a black card. Even Chen Yu didn't have this privilege. He thought back on what he had just done. His whole body went limp, and he took 2 steps back. Today, not only did his plan to humiliate me fail, but he also became the laughingstock of the entire place. More importantly, the Chen family valued me more than Chen Yu. If his father found out, he would probably beat him to death. The color drained from his face. Filled with fear, this was all Chen Yu's idea. He suddenly broke down and shouted, pointing at Chen Yu. He told me to do this on WeChat last night. I don't know you at all. A great man has a big heart. Don't hold it against me. Chen Yu's face was full of shock. He never expected this good brother of his would sell him out in front of everyone. When the people around heard this, they couldn't help but sigh inwardly. I paid them no mind at all. I went to look at the items in the store by myself. I took a liking to a dusty rose crocodile leather bag. I felt this bag would match Mom's dress today perfectly. So, I told the staff to wrap it up as well. The store manager was grinning from ear to ear. This was a new item just sent from the headquarters in Paris. It hadn't even been featured in magazines yet. If he sold this item, he could be promoted to store manager next quarter. Just then, Mom walked in with my older sister, followed by 4 bodyguards. She felt the atmosphere in the store was very strange. She saw her sons at a glance. It's nothing, Mom. My voice was innocent. Brother and his friend took me shopping. They said that we, the Chen family, must buy a lot of things. Only then can we live up to our status. As soon as Mom heard this, her expression immediately turned cold. She had navigated high society for many years. How could she not understand the tricks involved? She snorted coldly, but she didn't scold Chen Yu in front of everyone. Instead, she turned to speak to Du Zidong. Is this how your Du family raises its son? It seems. Our Chen family will have to reconsider our partnership with the Du family. When Du Zidong heard this, his knees went weak with fear. He almost collapsed to the ground. Madam, it's not like that. It was Xiao Yu. Enough. Mom immediately cut him off. She glanced angrily at Xiao Fan. Don't let others incite you. A young master of the Chen family doesn't need others to teach him how to act. Her anger hadn't subsided. Even her words of concern were spoken in a harsh tone. I quickly comforted her. Mom, don't be angry. The things young master Du picked out are all very nice. I really do need them. Seeing she was still angry, I smiled and pointed at the crocodile leather bag. Mom, this bag suits you so well. I bought it as a gift for you. You wouldn't dislike it, would you? Sure enough, Mom's attention was diverted. She saw that the bag was indeed very beautiful, and it was a style she had never seen before. Seeing that I was always thinking of her, the anger in her heart was temporarily suppressed. But this matter couldn't just be let go. Mom shifted her gaze to the side, where Chen Yu was bowing his head, not daring to speak. A sense of helpless anger welled up inside her, not her own flesh and blood. In the end, it just wasn't the same. This thought appeared in her mind for the first time. I was very clear. You can't take down Chen Yu in one go. Not unless things like today happen a few more times, to let them see clearly just how far Chen Yu is from their expectations. At that point, they will naturally be disappointed in him. Right now, Chen Yu was like a quail, not daring to move. Although Mom had a good temper, once she got angry, he didn't want to bear the consequences at all. So, Chen Yu could only pretend to be repentant, hoping his punishment would be a little lighter. Chen Jing stood beside them, not daring to say a word. She felt that Chen Yu had really gone too far this time. She remembered that before I came home, Chen Yu had badmouthed me in her ear. This personality really wasn't like a member of the Chen family. The Chen family did business openly and honorably. She had acknowledged this since she was young, but today's incident made her feel some resentment towards this younger brother of hers. Mom saw that the staff had finished wrapping the items, then took my hand and left. Her good mood for shopping had completely vanished. The car quickly drove back to the manor. As soon as we got home, Mom said coldly to Chen Yu, "You come upstairs with me." Chen Yu shivered. His limbs felt numb as he followed her upstairs. Only Chen Jing and I were left in the living room, along with a pile of spoils. I calmly opened the packages. Chen Jing thought to herself, my temper is too good. Not even getting angry after something like that. She had no idea what I was thinking. I don't care who chose the items. Du Zidang's taste is actually not bad. In my past life, I was bullied quite a lot by him and Chen Yu. But in this life, I must make up for all the regrets of my past life. Not only must I save my master, but I must also be a successful young master of the Chen family. Besides, I didn't even have to pay for these things myself. At this moment, Chen Jing wanted to comfort me. Are you okay? She was a bit awkward. After all, we had only known each other for 3 days. I looked left and right to make sure she was talking to me. I am fine. My voice was light. She couldn't find a second topic. She could only say awkwardly, it's good that you're fine. I am going upstairs first. After saying that, she fled, taking the stairs 3 at a time. At the same time, in the room upstairs, Mom was lying on a chaise lounge, her hand on her forehead with a tired expression. Kneel. Chen Yu's knees went weak. He immediately knelt on the ground. Mom was extremely strict when raising her children. Her eldest and second daughters were both very well educated. Only the one in front of her was worthless. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. Chen Yu peeked at his mother. Her face grew darker and darker. He didn't dare to move. He remembered the last time he was punished was 2 years ago. He had gotten carried away and was ridiculed by everyone at a banquet. That time, he was forced to kneel all night. Do you know where you went wrong? Mom asked tiredly with her eyes closed. I shouldn't have let Xiao Dang make things difficult for my younger brother in front of everyone. Chen Yu was still shifting the blame, thinking his punishment would be lighter that way. He made things difficult. Mom was so angry she laughed. A sarcastic smile formed on her lips. If you hadn't nodded, where would he get the guts to make things difficult for a member of the Chen family? Mom's voice was filled with fury. She sighed. For the first time, she wondered if keeping Chen Yu in the Chen family was a mistake. It seems you still haven't thought through your mistakes. Mom finally suppressed her anger. Go to your room and kneel. When you've thought it through, have someone come and tell me. Mom, I was wrong. Chen Yu hurriedly cried. He didn't want the servants to see him kneeling. I shouldn't have let Du Ziding bully my younger brother. I was just jealous. Dad even gave him a black card. I don't even have one. He was actually acting aggrieved. Mom sighed inwardly. It seemed Chen Yu really hadn't recognized his own position. Could he not see how pleased Father Chen was with this biological son of his? This point, compared to my previous life, was completely different. In this life, Father Chen was filled with guilt towards me. The image of me huddled in the attic often appeared in his mind, reminding him of his debt to me. Moreover, I was extremely generous in front of others, which made them all very satisfied. At this moment, Mom couldn't help but compare Chen Yu and me. Although Chen Yu deliberately dressed up, it was hard to hide the flaws in his facial features. As for me, though thin, I was a classic beauty. Mom thought to herself. I was the perfect combination of her and Chen Zhe's genes. The more she looked at Chen Yu in front of her, the less she wanted to see him. So, facing that aggrieved look, Mom completely lost her patience. If you haven't thought it through, then take your time. I am tired, you can go. This time, Chen Yu was completely stunned. He had originally thought that by throwing a tantrum and crying, he could win his mother's sympathy and be forgiven for his childishness. Who would have thought? Mom's reaction was completely beyond his expectations. He panicked. His biggest supporter no longer wanted to hear his explanation. He could only dejectedly get up from the ground. He took the opportunity while no one was around to quickly sneak back to his room. However, he thought the matter was over. Just as he closed the door, Mom picked up her phone and called the butler directly. The call connected instantly. Madam, what are your instructions? Starting today, the third young master is grounded. Without my permission, don't let him take a single step out of his room. No visitors are allowed. After saying that, Mom hung up the phone. Only then did she lie back down to recover her wasted energy. That evening, Chen Zhe returned. He immediately felt the atmosphere in the house was a bit strange, but when he found out that Liu Ru was punishing Chen Yu for doing something wrong, he didn't ask any further. Chen Zhe usually didn't interfere with Liu Ru's management of the household. Besides, disciplining children was a normal thing, so the dinner atmosphere at the Chen family's home was still considered harmonious. Only Chen Yu was starving in his room, suffering alone. Soon, it was the day for me to return to the hospital to have my cast removed. Liu Ru accompanied me to the hospital. The doctor was very quick. He checked the bone development in my arm and skillfully removed the cast. But Liu Ru had no intention of leaving the hospital yet. She felt my body was really too weak. She wanted me to have another full checkup so the doctor could give some advice, but I had other plans in mind. In my past life, my body was severely depleted, but my master used traditional Chinese medicine for 2 years to help my body recover by 70 to 80%. So, I decided to discuss this with Liu Ru. Mom, actually, I know a very good way to nourish the body. Liu Ru obviously didn't believe me. If there really was a way, I wouldn't be in such a frail state right now. It's true. Mom, when I was young, I had a serious illness. I almost didn't make it. At that time, an old traditional Chinese medicine doctor in town saw how pitiful I was and gave me a prescription for free. He was afraid my adoptive parents would find it too expensive and not buy the medicine for me, so he even changed all the ingredients to cheaper ones. I only took it for a month and felt much better. It would have been better if I continued taking it, but they saw that it cost money every month, so they were stingy. Seeing that I was almost recovered, they stopped the medicine. Moreover, the old doctor said that if I had money in the future, I could change the ingredients in the prescription back to the original ones, and the effect would be much better. After hearing this, Liu Ru was a little thoughtful. I happen to know someone in S, who is a very famous old traditional Chinese medicine doctor. Maybe I should take Xiao Fan there to have a look. The old doctor lived in an old courtyard house in the south of the city. Liu Ru led me to the door and rang the bell, waiting for someone inside to open it. Soon, a young girl ran out and led the way. I observed the house as I walked. The house was mainly made of wood, interspersed with green bricks. It didn't look like a design from recent years. It must be an old house with some age, but the wooden beams were not rotten at all. They must have used extremely good wood. Thinking about how this was a family of traditional Chinese medicine doctors, to have such a family fortune, their medical skills must be excellent. I just don't know how they compare to my master, I thought to myself. My master's medical skills. In my past life, I never saw anyone who could compare, but my master's life was truly too tragic. Unlike this family with such a substantial fortune, the three of them quickly crossed the small courtyard and arrived in front of a quiet house. Grandpa, Madam Chen is here. The girl knocked gently on the door. Come in. A powerful voice came from inside the room. Seeing the three of them had arrived, Elder Dr. Shia also put down the brush in his hand. He lifted his heavy eyelids. The wrinkles on his face couldn't hide his spirit. Madam Chen is here today to ask about health preservation methods again. Liu Ru didn't beat around the bush. I came today to ask you to take a look at my son. This child has suffered a lot outside these past years. His health is very poor. You are someone I know, the elder doctor with the most brilliant medical skills. I can only be at ease if I come to you. The elder doctor smiled kindly and said to me, Young man, sit down on this chair. Let me take your pulse. I obediently sat down, placing my skinny wrist on the pulse pillow in front of me. After just a moment, Elder Dr. Xia removed his hand, his voice gentle. Young man, did you often go hungry in the past? I confirmed his question, to be able to use the pulse to diagnose a stomach ailment. Hidden beneath my weak constitution, he did have some skill. Elder Dr. Xia already had a general plan in mind. He picked up his brush and began to write a prescription. I stood beside him, wanting to see this prescription compared to the one I prescribed for myself a few days ago, to see if there were any differences. Elder Dr. Sia's prescription was an ancient formula for nourishing qi and blood. The dosage was also based on my condition and adjusted accordingly. But if this prescription included astragalus root, the nourishing effect would be better. This prescription is similar to the one the old doctor prescribed for me before, but that doctor's prescription also included one more. Hearing this, Elder Dr. Xia's pupils dilated. He asked hurriedly, "What else did you say it included?" I answered clearly, "On that old doctor's prescription, there was also astragalus root." Haha. That's right. Why didn't I think that astragalus root could also nourish qi and blood? Adding it wouldn't conflict with the other herbs. Elder Dr. Xia asked me, trembling with excitement, "Young Master Chen, who gave you this prescription?" I didn't expect that one point I made would make him so excited. This prescription was given to me by an old, traditional Chinese medicine doctor in a small town a few years ago, but he's not there anymore. When Elder Dr. Xia heard what I said, the expectant look in his eyes dimmed. So be it. A master is always someone you can meet but not seek. Being able to improve the family's secret prescription was already a very good thing. With Elder Dr. Xia's advice, I felt I could start taking action slowly to get my family to accept me studying traditional Chinese medicine. But before I could start my health plan, something I had forgotten finally arrived. The Chen family had found an English tutor for me. The English tutor from my previous life, under Chen Yu's threats and manipulation, had taught me very strange pronunciations. I followed it. In the end, in front of Father and Mother Chen, I spoke a terrible, bizarre version of British English. This made Father and Mother Chen extremely disappointed, thinking that my 12 years away had ruined me beyond salvation. Because of that, I lost my academic confidence in my past life. As soon as I started school, I heard the English teacher lecturing entirely in English, and my whole body felt uncomfortable. By the time I finally managed to catch up with the Miss curriculum, it was already very difficult to keep up. At home, I was also provoked by Chen Yu and his lackeys. Incessantly at school, my spirit shattered and pieced itself back together time and time again. Until the college entrance exam, even though Chen Yu had started college 2 years before me, the shadow he cast over me still couldn't be erased. I don't know if Chen Yu will still play tricks on me like in the previous life, but now, I am not afraid at all, waiting for Chen Yu to provoke me again. That way, I can seize the opportunity to counterattack once more. The next day, the whole family was having breakfast together. "Xiao Fan, your teacher will be coming to the house later. You don't need to be nervous. She's not a strict teacher. I've interviewed several people, and I felt that their methods might not be very suitable for you." I was a little surprised after hearing this. After all, in my past life, Mom didn't bother interviewing any teachers at all. She directly chose that person, a gold medal teacher in the training industry, without considering my situation at all. This teacher is a third-year student at the School of Foreign Languages at Jing University. She previously worked as an intern interpreter at a company I invested in. She just happened to have returned to City S, so I tried to contact her. Mom was afraid I would think a student tutor wasn't reliable, so she explained further. "This is a child I've met before. She's very rare, a girl who could be called a foreign language genius. I think if a student teaches you, her learning methods will be more valuable for you to learn from." I was very surprised. I actually started looking forward to the upcoming English lesson, and not because I was expecting Chen Yu to cause trouble. I waited for the English teacher in the living room, although I had looked through it a few days ago, and even self-studied the first 2 books for the 7th grade. I was looking at the vocabulary list after the lesson, when a knock sounded on the living room door. I turned my head towards the door and said, "Come in." As soon as I finished speaking, I saw the 2 heavy doors slowly being pushed open to the sides. A slender figure in a dress appeared there. Behind her was the 9 a.m. sunlight, making her whole person look incredibly radiant. For a moment, I was a bit stunned. I thought that Mom, going to the trouble of finding me a good tutor, was already a big surprise, but I never expected that she would be so beautiful. "Hello, I am Teacher Xu." Xu Nianshu introduced herself like that. "Student Chen Fan. I've briefly learned about your academic progress, but I still need to test you to see where your actual level is." "Yes, teacher." I had prepared so much precisely for this lesson, just like that. She asked, and I answered, until she asked about 11th grade content. I realized that my complex sentences were still a bit vague, and it was easy to confuse verb tenses. Xu Nianshu now had a general idea of my level. She was also amazed by my learning ability, because according to Madam Chen, I had always lived in a remote town before. In terms of foreign language proficiency, Towns and cities definitely have a huge gap in education, but I had only just graduated from elementary school, yet I could already master 11th grade grammar knowledge. Besides my own hard work and self-studying ahead, my extraordinary comprehension and learning abilities were also the reason she was amazed. Under Xu Nianshu's guidance, my already excellent learning ability was once again qualitatively improved. This eventful summer vacation had finally come to an end. Today is Xu Nianshu's last lesson at the Chen family's home. It's also the time for Mother to finally test my English proficiency. 6:30 inches the morning. I am in my sportswear as usual, getting ready to go downstairs to exercise. After more than a month of rest, my body has gotten much stronger. After finishing this morning's workout, I take a quick shower in the bathroom, then go downstairs for breakfast with the family. When I get downstairs, everyone has already started eating. When Mother sees me arrive, she immediately praises the chef's porridge profusely. Xiao Fan, today's porridge is delicious. I smile, pull out my chair, and sit down. I also read in a book that eating this way is good for the stomach. An ancient book recorded a method that's different from the one used now. I thought I'd let the chef try it. I didn't expect it to actually taste better. I eat one small spoonful at a time, eating my porridge while listening to everyone chat. Mother tilts her head and looks at me. Xiao Fan, come over after your last class today. That's when the test will be. You should prepare beforehand. When Chen Yu hears this, he starts praying in his heart that I haven't learned a thing. He doesn't dare to cause trouble for me these days, but if I can't do it myself, then no one else can be blamed. Yes, Mother, I am already prepared. You can just come over then. All right, that's all for today's lesson. Xu Nianshu puts down the article from The Economist she was just explaining to me. This month, she has been adjusting her teaching plan, continuously based on my learning progress. Because my learning ability is so strong, my learning speed also far exceeds that of ordinary people. Even someone like her, who has been called a genius since childhood, has to admire it. If I had lived in the Chen family's house since I was young, perhaps I would have also been called a genius. But the aura of a genius will not be easily buried. My abilities, after more than a month of studying, have started to reveal themselves. Xu Nianshu sighs in admiration, thinking that a genius in learning foreign languages was born from her own hands. She feels a sense of satisfaction and pride. Your level now is even higher than that of an average university student. Your mother will be here to test you soon. Don't be nervous, your proficiency is not a problem. Meanwhile, Mother, estimating that the time had come, brought the prepared materials into the living room. Are you ready? After receiving my affirmative answer, Liu Ru took the documents and sat down. The test is divided into two parts. The first part, Mother will give me a 9th grade essay from PA Wen School. I am to read it with the most fluent spoken language. The second part, Mother will have a direct conversation with me, in English, simulating a fully English-taught class. Yes, Mother, I am ready. I am completely calm, because for these two tests from Mother, Xu Nianshu has already trained me regularly. I believe I will have absolutely no problem. I pick up the paper from the table, glance over it just once, and I am already prepared. I read it out loud in a standard British accent. Liu Ru hadn't expected me to be able to read it completely. As long as I could keep the number of mistakes under control, she would consider it a pass. But now, my excellent performance has left Liu Ru utterly astonished. Her expectations for me rise accordingly. Finally, the last word is spoken from my mouth. Seeing the satisfied smile on Mother's face, I know I've passed the first hurdle. Liu Ru nods in satisfaction. My performance was beyond Mother's expectations. The second hurdle isn't that simple. Are you ready? Seeing me nod, she begins the conversation with me in fluent English. I had never heard Liu Ru speak English before, and now I am stunned by Liu Ru's fluent American accent. Even the American movies I watched in my past life were only at this level. Xu Nianshu, standing beside me, sees Liu Ru's increasingly fast-speaking pace and professional use of vocabulary, and she also feels worried for me. Vocabulary and pronunciation can be improved in a short time, but this kind of conversational ability, to reach Liu Ru's level in such a short time, is clearly impossible. Liu Ru sees my response speed gradually slowing down and gains a preliminary understanding of my ability. She stops the conversation. Her purpose wasn't to crush my spirit. My performance now has already far exceeded her expectations. At this moment, I am in a state of profound shock. So Liu Ru is actually this skilled. In my mind, the image of Liu Ru has always been that of a wealthy lady who is detached from worldly affairs. Seeing my shocked and crestfallen expression, Liu Ru smiles and says to me, "Your performance was very good. You've passed." Xu Nianshu, who was nearby, chimes in at the right moment. "Senior, your skills are as formidable as ever. You've demoralized my student." There's a hint of teasing in Xu Nianshu's voice. "Senior, It seems Junior has successfully completed her advanced studies. Liu Ru says with a surprised smile. That's right, I received the acceptance letter a while ago. I wanted to earn some pocket money for my senior before I go. Xu Nian Chu jokes. After saying that, she turns to me and says, your level is beyond our expectations. Your mother was a gold medal member of a prestigious university's debate club. Even I can't out-argue her. Hearing Xu Nian Chu's words, I finally feel at ease. The test is over, which means I can enroll in 7th grade at PAI Wen School normally. But there's one thing that makes me postpone this plan. That is the Chen family's banquet. This family banquet is my first official appearance in the Chen family. Therefore, several other clans with good relations were also invited, all of them old, established families. At this moment, in Chen Yu's room on the 2nd floor, Liu Ru is also helping him choose a suit for the party. Mother, you mean the Liu family will also be at this family banquet? Chen Yu asks in disbelief. Seeing his reaction, Liu Ru knows that some things must be made clear to him. So, she asked the design team to leave the room. Her gentle, smiling face immediately turns dark and stern. Chen Yu, I know what you're scheming. You like Liu Ru Yan, and I have no opinion on that. When Chen Yu hears the name Liu Ru Yan, his eyes widen and his gaze trembles abruptly. Clearly, Liu Ru understands him better than he thought. But you must know, the one with a marriage contract with Liu Ru Yan is the young master of the Chen family. Liu Ru's voice suddenly becomes emphatic, causing Chen Yu to tremble. Mother, what do you mean? Sister Ru Yan and I grew up together since we were kids. Everyone knows I am her fiancé. Everyone knows you are her fiancé, but that's because you are the young master of the Chen family. Otherwise, what basis would we have to think that old General Liu would tacitly agree to let my uncle Liu arrange this marriage? After speaking, Liu Ru takes a deep breath. If I also wanted this marriage, as a mother, she would surely favor me. After all, a marriage is not a small matter like buying a set of clothes. This is a matter concerning the Chen family. The true young master of the Chen family. How could his marriage be worse than that of the Chen family's adopted son? The Liu family took the initiative to request attendance at this family banquet. It's only because of them that we have to invite several other major families. What is the Liu family's intention? Could it be that Xiao Fan's return means the marriage contract must be changed? Let's take it one step at a time. Liu Ru glances at Chen Yu beside her, her voice tinged with wariness. If Ru Yan also likes you more, then this marriage contract is still yours. If she has no other intentions toward you, then give up this idea. Towards this child, whom she once loved so dearly, Liu Ru feels utterly exhausted. If he were still her most well-behaved child, then things wouldn't be so complicated. But recently, the unsuitable ambitions and schemes that he has displayed, which are not fitting for an ordinary person, have horrified both Liu Ru and Chen Jie. For such a person to remain in the Chen family, is it not like raising a tiger in the house? Chen Yu still doesn't know that the Chens already have different thoughts about him. He is very happy after hearing Liu Ru's words. As long as I still have a chance, I must hold on tightly to this marriage contract. This is the only way he can win against me. He also sees very clearly that blood ties are ultimately very powerful. If this continues, father and mother will no longer show me any favoritism. If he continues to openly target me, he will be the one to suffer. But he has already turned against me. This makes it impossible for him to use the method of deep brotherly love to win the love of his parents anymore. The marriage with the top-tier, prestigious Liu clan is his only chance to turn the tables. Seeing that he had nothing more to say, Liu Ru gave him a few instructions and then got up to return to her room. Soon, the day of the family banquet arrived. Everyone got out of the car at the gate. Soon, someone came out to greet them. The second son of the Chen family, Chen Mingwei. This second uncle has a very close relationship with my parents, and in the past, he was also very good to his nephew, Chen Yu, no less than to his own biological son. In my previous life, Chen Yu also relied on this favoritism to become increasingly arrogant. I really have no good feelings for this second uncle. In short, this second uncle of mine can be said to be a hopeless case. Unlike me in my past life, my miserable state later on was due to being severely oppressed by Chen Yu, and the second uncle of the Chen family's ending was no better. After Grandpa and Grandma Chen passed away one after another, there was no one left to support him. His business went from bad to worse. He never expected that the nephew he had always doted on would also kick him when he was down. Chen Mingwei quickly noticed my unfamiliar face. This is Xiao Fan, isn't it? Chen Zhe introduces me. Xiao Fan. This is your second uncle. Hello. Second uncle. Chen Mingwei, however, wasn't very enthusiastic towards this biological nephew of his, because he knew his sister-in-law always doted on Chen Yu, even disregarding the dignity of her biological son, me, to keep him. He had originally wanted to curry favor with his eldest brother's family, so naturally, he placed more importance on the favored young master of the Chen family. He reluctantly replied to me with a few words, then turned his head to smile at Chen Yu beside him. Xiao Yu, why haven't you come to visit Grandpa and Grandma? Brother Jia Yan has asked me about you many times. Seeing Chen Mingwei disrespect me, a smile immediately bloomed on Chen Yu's face. Second uncle, I've been busy preparing for the start of school lately. Once school starts, I can find Brother Jia Yan to hang out. Chen Zhe, standing nearby, saw the interaction between the two, and he understood what both of them were thinking. He snorted coldly and quickly walked into the house. Liu Ru turned towards the second uncle, smiled, and nodded in acknowledgement, then followed him inside. Seeing that Chen Mingwei gave me no face, I couldn't be bothered to feign a smile either. I followed my parents inside. As for Chen Jing, it goes without saying. As soon as she got out of the car, without waiting for Chen Mingwei to greet her, she ran like a gust of wind to the third floor to find her eldest sister. Seeing the entire family's reaction, Chen Mingwei looked a bit stunned. What's this situation? For the first time, he felt like he had buttered up the wrong person. Chen Yu saw his parents' reaction and almost lost his composure. Looking at his second uncle's questioning expression, he just laughed it off to smooth things over. Second uncle, I haven't visited Grandma in a while. Please take me to see her quickly. Interrupted by him, Chen Mingwei also forgot the question in his mind and led him into the house to find the old lady. At this moment, in the Chen family's study on the second floor, Chen Jie took me directly to see Old Master Chen. Old Master Chen was currently engrossed in writing calligraphy. We're here. Hearing Chen Jie's words, the old master put down his brush and looked up at the arrivals. Old Master Chen saw that I was clearly much smaller than my peers and sighed. This is Xiao Fan, isn't it? You have suffered. The elderly, at their advanced age, no longer pursue anything else. They only wish for their descendants to be safe and sound. When he learned about what happened back then, the old master even fell ill for a while. He only recovered after hearing the news that the person had been found. Looking at his pitiful grandson now, although his complexion wasn't bad, there was still not much flesh on his face. A wave of affection surged in the old master's heart. Good child, you must have suffered a lot out there. At a signal from my father, I looked at the old master with my big, glistening eyes, and called out, "Hello, grandfather." Without a second word, the old master took out his key and opened the safe. He took out a jade safety pendant made many years ago, and gave it to me as a first meeting gift. In the early years, there was still a lot of good jade on the market, but it has become increasingly rare in recent years. This safety pendant is part of a whole set of jewelry. The old master only took out one piece, which was also a statement of his attitude. When I grow up, the rest of the set will be my coming-of-age gift. There's no reason to separate a complete set. I take this dark green safety pendant, and as soon as I hold it, I can feel the exquisite quality of the jade. Top-grade imperial green ice jade. Good jade nurtures a person. From this jade pendant, I can see the old master's love for his grandson. In my previous life, there was no such fine gift, but my own performance was truly not good. Chen Zi still took me to see the old master alone. I was so timid then that I didn't dare to lift my head. Naturally, the old master showed no affection. He gave me a bank card with a 1 million limit, and then dismissed me to the side. Chen Zhe took the jade safety pendant from my hand and put it around my neck directly. He was also surprised by the old master's generosity. This jade set was from before he was even married, and the old master had spent a great deal of effort to collect it. He had kept it for so many years without taking it out, and unexpectedly gave it to me, but he showed no expression on his face. It's a good thing that the old master likes Xiao Fan. It's just that things probably won't go so smoothly on the old lady's side. The third floor of the villa. Sister, our brother has really come home. Are you coming down to see? Chen Jing sits on the sofa in Chen Huang's room, asking listlessly. She looks at her sister, Chen Huang, who is reading a book beside her. Chen Huang gets a headache from her little sister. She has no choice but to put her book aside. Won't we see him later anyway? Chen Huang was raised by Grandma Chen in the old Chen family residence since she was young. Even though in recent years, Chen Jie's work focus has returned to City S, the old lady still won't allow Chen Huang to move back. Every time Chen Huang mentions returning home, Grandma Chen would put on a show. If you leave, it'll die for you to see. She knows her grandmother's thoughts. Among the 3 Chen brothers, the son she loves the most is also the most useless one. She can't control the eldest and youngest sons, so she chose one of her grandchildren to control. A few years ago, second Uncle Chen's son caused a big scene, saying Chen Huang was just an outsider staying in their home. Chen Zhe happened to have some business that day, came to see the old master and witnessed it. In that moment, an boundless rage almost erupted from him. He even wanted to fall out with the old lady. Leaving his daughter here was all the old lady's idea. Now Chen Zi still doesn't know, in the times they weren't watching, what kind of life his eldest daughter had been living here. No wonder her personality is so cold. Chen Zhe had a big argument with the old lady, declaring that he would take Chen Huang away immediately. Grandma Chen again put on her, "If my eldest granddaughter leaves, I'll go die" act. This time, Chen Zhe ignored her drama and directly pulled Chen Huang, intending to leave. It was old Master Chen who stepped in to end this drama. Old Master Chen gave an order that Chen Huang could return once she came of age. Grandma Chen was angry and about to argue with Grandpa Chen. Grandpa Chen said bluntly, "If you want to argue, then I'll move out." Only then did Grandma stop talking. Her tyranny in the house for so many years was all based on the old master's respect and forbearance towards his primary wife. If they truly fell out, no one would support the old lady in the future. Chen Jie asked Chen Huang, and she really hadn't suffered any major grievances. It's just that her cousin would throw a tantrum occasionally. Only then did Chen Zhe let it go. When school starts this month, Chen Huang will go to Tsinghua University in Jingxi to study. Less than 2 weeks after school starts, Chen Huang will turn 18. Therefore, this family banquet is Chen Huang's last family banquet at the old Chen family residence. The fact that her older sister can finally come home naturally makes Chen Jing extremely excited. At this time, in the Chen family's banquet hall, Liu Ru saw Chen Jie take me upstairs, so she also went to the banquet hall where family parties are always held. As the hostess of the Chen family, she still needs to maintain at least a superficial harmony with her mother-in-law. This time, many people from other families have come to the banquet, and they are basically all core members. So no matter what trouble the old lady might cause, she has no intention of engaging. As soon as Liu Ru entered the banquet hall, she saw Madame Huang smiling and walking towards her. "I heard Madame Chen found her son, and I haven't had the chance to congratulate Madame Chen yet. I've been in Gangcheng all this time. I must come to your house for a visit someday soon. We haven't chatted in a long time," Madame Huang said intimately as she linked arms with Liu Ru. "Of course. I just made some new flower tea. Wait for a day with good weather. You can come over and we can sit and chat." Liu Ru also replied with a smile. "You've arrived and haven't even greeted this old lady. Just busy talking among yourselves." A sarcastic complaint reached the two women's ears. Hearing this, Madame Huang's expression stiffened. Liu Ru patted her hand, then walked towards the old lady. "There are always so many people around you, mother. I can never squeeze in every time I come. It's better to stand a bit farther away so as not to disturb everyone," Liu Ru said, then sat down on the long sofa opposite the old lady. "Sit down." Liu Ru, wearing a long, silver-white evening gown and holding a limited edition handbag, sat down there. She looked even more glamorous than a movie star on the red carpet. The old lady looked at her appearance, so angry that she was about to grind her dentures to dust. She hated this vixen-like appearance of hers the most. "It's what makes my son grow distant from me." The Liu Ru of today was no longer the same as 10 years ago. Needing the old lady's approval to enter the elite circle of City S. Ever since Chen Jie returned from abroad, Liu Ru's dignity no longer needed to be given by others. It was only a matter of whether she would give face to others. The old lady also knew that Liu Ru could no longer be controlled by her now. Chen Huang was also grown up, so she could no longer, like before, use her to threaten Liu Ru. Therefore, ever since Liu Ru learned of the old master's order, she had completely stopped paying attention to this harsh, feudal old lady. Looking at the second uncle's family, now, constantly bowing and scraping before the old lady, a cold, sarcastic smile appeared on Liu Ru's lips. Relying on the scraps the old lady let fall, in the eyes of others, the second Chen uncle's family was just that and nothing more. Soon, Liu Ru's long sofa was filled with people who came to chat and talk with her, while on Grandma Chen's side, there was only the second daughter-in-law, and Chen Yu, who arrived later. Chen Yu had known how to please the old lady since he was young, and sweetly called her grandma as before. But Grandma Chen didn't spare him a single glance. Chen Yu was extremely embarrassed. He never expected that the grandmother who had always loved him the most would treat him like this. In Grandma Chen's heart, she had doted on Chen Yu before, because among eldest brother Chen's children, he was the one who least resembled Liu Ru. But this had a most important prerequisite, that he was eldest brother Chen's son. Chen Yu wasn't even a child of the Chen family, so why should she be good to him? Chen Yu couldn't understand at this moment. Mother had clearly spoken up to keep him in the Chen family, and acknowledged his status as the third young master, so why was grandmother, who had always doted on him more than mother, acting like this? Just then, a commotion came from the entrance. Liu Ru turned her head to look. Mrs. Liu and Mr. Liu have both arrived. Behind them is a young girl who looks like a middle school student. She's wearing a dress. Liu Ru smiled and stepped forward, inviting the Liu family to sit down. Chen Yu, sitting across from them, blushed crimson. The girl saw Chen Yu's expression. She also broke into a bright smile. Little Yu, long time no see. Chen Yu saw Lu Ruyan greet him first. His face was so red that even his ears turned red. Sister Ruyan, long time no see. Liu Ruyan wanted to continue talking to him, but was stopped by a glare from Mother Liu. She gave a light cough and sat up straight, no longer looking in Chen Yu's direction. Chen Yu saw this small interaction from the Liu family, and his heart turned half cold. Just then, old Master Chen led Chen Jia and me downstairs. In the living room, everyone's gazes were focused on the three of us. At that moment, I put on a suitable smile. Using eyes that radiated a noble air, I glanced over the crowd below. Everyone who witnessed this scene understood clearly in their hearts at that moment. This person would be the most respected young master of the Chen family from now on. 2 months ago, the Chen family found their real young master. The news that they also kept the fake young master at the Chen estate had shaken the entire city. The upper class, especially the Liu family, who had a marriage arrangement with the Chen family. Previously, the two families had always assumed that the subjects of the marriage contract were Chen Yu and Liu Ruyan without any issue. But now, if Chen Yu wasn't the real young master of the Chen family, and the Chen family's attitude was so ambiguous, the Liu family couldn't help but reconsider the chosen one for the marriage contract. This time, they intentionally proposed attending this family banquet of the Chen family. The most important purpose was to probe the Chen family's attitude towards the marriage contract. Chen Jie took me to meet some of the most important clans in the Chen family's network in City S. I followed by my father's side, keeping a smile on my face and greeting everyone. Everyone carefully looked at my face and immediately knew why this person was the real young master of the Chen family. My face was practically cast from the same mold as Liu Ru. Before, I was too thin. This month, both Liu Eryu and I have been very focused on supplementing my nutrition. That's how I gained the good complexion that in my past life, I couldn't even regain at the age of 30. So, with this face, I went before Grandma Chen. In my previous life, I was not liked by this old woman, because in my previous life, I always had a thin and sickly appearance. In Grandma Chen's eyes, I was someone without good fortune, not likable. But in this life, although I have nourished my body well, this face that the old woman has hated for over 10 years only makes her even angrier. My expression didn't change. At my father's signal, I greeted the old woman. Hello, Grandma. I am Chen Fan. After hearing this, the old woman didn't even offer a smile. She just replied coolly, "It's good that you're back." Chen Yu took advantage of my falling out of favor with the old woman, and hurriedly and attentively supported her arm. Everyone went to the dining room together to start the banquet. On the surface, it seemed that both hosts and guests were happy. People gathered in small groups, clustering together to talk. The head of the Liu family and Mrs. Liu signaled to Chen Jia and Liu Ru to move elsewhere to talk. In the small living room on the second floor of the Chen house, Uncle Chen, now that Chen Fan is back home, what about the marriage contract between our two families? The head of the Liu family got straight to the point upon entering the room, posing his question. Uncle Chen, the marriage contract we arranged before was between the princess of my Liu family and the young master of the Chen family. Now that the young master of the Chen family is someone else, then I am afraid the subject of our marriage contract must be changed. Seeing the Liu family being so aggressive, Liu Ru couldn't let Chen Jia bear the pressure alone. Mr. Liu, Mrs. Liu, this marriage matter, we still need to consider the children's thoughts. This engagement, of course, still stands. As parents, we all know. Since childhood, we've seen little Yu and Ru Yan as a pair. They've grown up together for so many years. Their feelings aren't bad either. Hearing her say this, Mrs. Liu immediately cut her off. Mrs. Chen, little Yu is not your Chen family's son. That's not quite right, is it? Liu Ru wasn't angry either. She patted Mrs. Liu's hand and said, Mrs. Liu, you can't say that. Little Yu is acknowledged by our Chen family as a young master of the Chen family. It wouldn't sound good if this gets out. Liu Ru frowned slightly. With a troubled expression, she said, the future is still long. The children's feelings, we adults don't know for sure. I think we should still keep the marriage contract. It's just that, which young master of the Chen family this engagement is for, I am afraid we can't really decide right now. I can only promise you both that both little Yu and Chen Fan are young masters of our Chen family, but you both also know, Chen Fan has suffered outside for so many years. We must compensate him now. The things we give him must naturally be a bit better. The Liu couple also understood this reasoning. After all, the children are still young. There's no rush, as long as the Chen family guarantees that no matter who it is in the future, a young master of the Chen family will fulfill the marriage contract. The head of the Liu family spoke up. Recently, in our circle, there has been too much gossip. We just want a clear stance from your Chen family. The children are indeed still young. As long as the Chen family ensures both young masters are treated the same, then we can also wait longer. Wait for the children to grow up, and see what they think before deciding. The two sides reached an agreement on the marriage contract. On the 16th birthday of the two young masters of the Chen family, they will announce the official engagement between the Chen and Liu families. At the time of the engagement, they must determine the subject of the contract, and in these few years, they will observe how the children interact with each other. On the second floor, everyone was happy, but downstairs, a chaotic scene was unfolding. The old woman saw me sitting on the small sofa, behaving properly while talking to the wealthy ladies. She couldn't help but let out a cold snort, and said in a strange tone, "Growing up in a small place really isn't good enough. No manners. When did the Chen family ever allow someone to set aside their elders and go chat on their own?" After saying that, she glanced in my direction. I thought to myself, this old hag is finally making her move. As expected, at this moment, Chen Yu, who was beside her, added fuel to the fire. "Grandma, brother has only been back for 2 months. He doesn't understand things. I'll bring him over to apologize to you. Please don't be angry anymore." After speaking, he turned to lecture me. "Brother, hurry up and come talk to Grandma." I rolled my eyes dramatically in my mind. Chen Yu is always so meddlesome, but right now, I could only stand up and sit down near the old woman. After all, I can't let my image as a wealthy young master collapse. "Grandma, I saw second aunt and brother talking with you the whole time. I thought you wouldn't have time for me. It was my fault. Please don't be angry anymore, Grandma." I smiled appeasingly. But Grandma Chen paid no attention. "Don't use that vixen-like look on me. You're just like that vixen of a mother of yours. Besides using that face to seduce people, what else can you do?" These words made it clear to everyone present, although they knew that the Chen family's matriarch was not a very reasonable person, but in front of so many of City's top elites, to call her own grandson a vixen, this was truly outrageous. No one dared to interfere in the Chen family's affairs. They just quietly drank tea and ate pastries on the side. Hearing the old woman's words, I couldn't help but feel a little angry. Is she trying to make it impossible for me to live peacefully in City S? So I decided not to pretend to be this filial grandson anymore. I took a sip of tea and continued. "I don't know why Grandma would call me a vixen. Could it be that anyone who is slightly good-looking is a vixen in your eyes? Would you like me more if I were a little uglier?" Grandma Chen saw the two people beside to her, their expressions turning a little sour. Her dislike for me grew even stronger in her heart, but to say no would hurt her second daughter-in-law's feelings. If she said yes, it would make everyone present feel that she was aggressive, so she could only swallow this anger, and said harshly, "Such a sharp tongue." I didn't even spare her a glance, completely ignoring her. The people nearby also saw my character. For a moment, they didn't know if they should continue to befriend me. "Grandma, this is my first time meeting my brother. I want to talk with him for a bit." We'll be heading upstairs. Chen Huang, not far away, also witnessed the conversation between the two. The Chen family's young master making his debut was sitting there all alone. It wouldn't be good for me. The two of them went upstairs together. Chen Jing was eating cake. Seeing both of them go up, she hurriedly carried a small plate of cake and ran up after them. After I left, the atmosphere in the banquet hall was no longer as tense as before. Everyone started their superficial socializing again. "I don't really have anything to say to you. I was just afraid you'd be bored down there. It was just an excuse to bring you up here. You can just rest as you please." Chen Huang let go of my hand. She paused for a moment, and added, "You don't need to hold it against Grandma. She doesn't like Mom. You look a lot like Mom. Her personality has always been like this." Hearing this, I looked up and said, "Sister, does she say things like that to you too? You and Mom look very much alike too. Does she often say things that make you angry?" In my previous life, although I didn't live in the main Chen residence, I still knew a little about Chen Huang's situation. In her past life, after Chen Huang got married, the old woman kept up her harsh way of speaking, and even revealed that she often verbally abused Chen Huang. Hearing my direct question, Chen Huang was stunned for a moment. She said in an indifferent tone, "She wouldn't do anything to me in public. After all, she is the best grandmother who loves her granddaughter the most." Although I knew Chen Huang's situation, seeing that she didn't intend to talk about it, I didn't bring it up with her again. I looked around Chen Huang's room, a girl's room, besides a computer. Everything else was related to studying. I thought of Chen Jing. Her room was filled with dolls and all sorts of decorations. Thinking of Chen Huang's situation, I couldn't help but feel a spark of anger towards the old woman in my heart. If Chen Huang didn't have a strong inner self, she would have probably been driven mad by her. I recalled my previous life. Chen Huang was the only person in the entire family who always had good intentions towards me. In my previous life, I was always timid at home, afraid to speak. When Chen Huang came back for a temporary stay, she saw me. She also saw the family's attitude towards me. She stopped me in the hallway and left me with one sentence: how others treat you depends on how you treat yourself. Later on, the scandal about Grandma Chen's sick obsession with control over Chen Huang was exposed. It became a hot topic in society. In my past life, I was always afraid that one day I would hear the news of Chen Huang, the diligent and gentle girl, committing suicide. In this life, with me here, I will absolutely not let Chen Huang deal with Chen Yu alone and the people behind him. We didn't know that. Downstairs, Liu Ru, after finding out what Grandma Chen said to me, directly confronted the old woman on the spot. Chen Zhe, behind her, had also had enough of the old woman's troublemaking and accusations. He directly declared that for future Chen family banquets, he, like third uncle, would not attend. Old Master Chen knew that the old woman had made things difficult for me in front of everyone. His face also turned pale. It was one thing for her to act tyrannically at home, but to be so unreasonable in front of outsiders, it was truly giving people something to laugh at. The old master flicked his sleeves and glared angrily at Grandma Chen before heading straight upstairs. Seeing this, the guests also found excuses to leave one by one. Liu Ru told a servant to go to the second floor and call me and Chen Jing down. Seeing that Chen Jie's family was about to leave, the old woman's eyes widened in anger. She shouted hoarsely at him, "Eldest son, do you really want to make such a scene? I am your mother." Chen Jie gave her a cold look and walked straight out the door. Even now, the old woman still didn't know who was picking a fight with whom. Disregarding the bigger picture, Liu Ru saw that the two children had come down and called for them to leave. Following Chen Jie's footsteps out the door, Chen Yu hesitated for a moment, but still said goodbye to Grandma Chen, and then followed Liu Ru and the others. In the vast banquet hall, only second uncle and his wife were left, and the old woman, sitting stunned on the sofa. The old woman looked at the empty banquet hall and placed all the blame on Liu Ru. This vixen. All these years of misfortune were because of Liu Ru, and also that son who's just like his mother. They looked the same. The moment he appeared, he displeased me. That year, the eldest daughter-in-law the old woman favored was a girl from a scholarly family in City S. Her mother and Grandma Chen were close friends. The two had long ago privately agreed that their children would marry in the future. That girl had the kind of appearance that Grandma Chen liked. A certain type of aura. To put it bluntly, she wasn't very beautiful. Her personality was also very introverted and quiet. Every time Chen Jie came home, Grandma Chen would find excuses to set them up. He resolutely bought an apartment outside and moved out, until Chen Jie met Liu Ru, such an outstanding person. For the first time, he met the person he wanted to spend his life with. The matter of Chen Jie and Liu Ru wanting to get married made Grandma Chen furious. She felt that Liu Ru was not the model of a good wife. Liu Ru was too outstanding. Whether it was her personal abilities or her striking appearance, she was one in a million. Chen Jie ignored Grandma Chen's obstruction and married Liu Ru anyway. It was, at the wedding, that Grandma Chen first turned hostile towards Liu. "Are you?" She didn't respond when Liu Ru called her mother. Chen Jie immediately suggested moving out to live separately. The old master was also getting old. The business in his hands would eventually have to be handed over. His sons were also at the age where they could take over. So he relented and took a step back. Some new students didn't know them, but would be pulled aside by the students next to them, who would then inform them that these were members of the Chen family. My figure appearing behind the two Chen siblings quickly caused a stir of discussion in the crowd. The three of us faced everyone's gazes and walked forward as if nothing was happening. My handsome appearance quickly astonished everyone. My cold and noble aura could not be hidden. Chen Jing and Chen Yu were already famous figures in the school. Chen Jing was heroic and spirited, always a candidate for the title of school belle. Although Chen Yu's features weren't very handsome, the aura cultivated by Liu Ru over many years had also achieved some success. A noble aura characteristic of a wealthy young master, like a filter, enveloped him, making quite a few people infatuated with his aura, the premise being that they didn't know Chen Yu's ugly side behind his back. There were already quite a few students in the classroom, many of whom had come up from the elementary school division together. Everyone was gathered in small groups, talking and laughing. Chen Yu quickly found his group of friends and went to the seat they had saved for him. I didn't want to breathe in chalk dust, but I also wanted to study properly. So, I chose a spot in the middle of the third row, equivalent to the center of the classroom. Chen Yu saw my choice of seat as a provocation to his status. He thought viciously, "I must teach him a lesson at school. Little Yu, who is that? Why did you two arrive together?" Chen Yu's number one lackey asked curiously. "Is him? He's my younger brother who was just brought back from the countryside." Chen Yu's tone was contemptuous, intentionally emphasizing the words "from the countryside." "From the countryside? Is that the poor kid your parents adopted?" Hearing that, the boy sneered. The people around also laughed along. I heard the commotion behind me, and also felt the unusual stares from my classmates. At PAI, when there are only two types of students, one is the children of wealthy and powerful families. The other is the top academic prodigies of City S. Both types of people have their own kind of arrogance, but if you don't belong to either group at PAI then your life will not be easy. In my past life, Chen Yu excluded me from the wealthy circle, and would occasionally mock me, affecting my mood, which made me unable to study properly. Therefore, I wasn't accepted by the academic prodigies either, resulting in an extremely tragic 6 years of middle and high school. At this moment, my gaze sharpened. The corners of my mouth lifted into a cold smile. I turned my head, smiled at Chen Yu, and said, "I wonder who the real child adopted by the whole family is." After saying this, I turned my head back, leaving a crowd of astonished people behind me. Chen Yu angrily clenched his fists, panting heavily. "How dare you?" The circle of people surrounding Chen Yu, seeing that the situation was not good, found excuses to return to their own seats one by one, whispering amongst themselves about what I had just said. I didn't care. That sentence of mine had already caused a major earthquake in Chen Yu's circle of friends. I just need to firmly establish my identity. Only then can I study properly. The bell for class quickly rang. A gentle woman in a uniform, walking in high heels, quickly stepped into the classroom. "Hello, students. I will be your homeroom teacher for the 3 years of middle school. My surname is Feng. You can call me Teacher Feng." The gentle woman smiled and spoke to the students sitting below. I looked at Teacher Feng in front of me. A flash of disgust appeared in my eyes. This Teacher Feng was an outstanding student recently recruited by the school from a prestigious university, but her favoritism towards the wealthy was too obvious. Wen School clearly stipulated that teachers were not allowed to discriminate against students, but her attitude towards poor students and rich students was completely different. In my past life, I was bullied at school. Liu Ru felt something was wrong and came to the school to investigate. At that time, my homeroom teacher was still Teacher Feng. For some reason, she was teaching the 7th grade again. Teacher Feng saw that Chen Yu was more favored in the Chen family, so she didn't mention at all that I was being bullied at school. She only talked about how poorly I was performing, which made Liu Ru even more disappointed in me, believing I was a hopeless good-for-nothing. Teacher Feng looked with satisfaction at the attentive students, their obedient expressions, especially enjoying the astonished and admiring gazes of the male students. It wasn't a waste to wake up early to do my makeup carefully. "Students, we will now begin our first class meeting. Everyone, please come up to the podium one by one to introduce yourselves. Let's get to know each other. This afternoon after lunch, we will begin our annual outdoor training. I hope everyone can perform well. You must meet the requirements." Teacher Feng narrowed her eyes and gave a warm smile. Seeing the even more infatuated gazes from the male students, the smile on Teacher Feng's lips grew 2 shades brighter. Everyone went up to the podium to introduce themselves in seating order. Soon, it was the 3rd row's turn. I stood up from my seat. My whole body exuded an imposing aura. The golden bow tie symbolized that I was also a member of a prestigious family in City S. I was also the first student with a golden bow tie to go up to the podium. "My name is Chen Fan. It's a pleasure to meet you all." After greeting the classmates, they quickly began to gather in small groups to chat. Among them, those sitting in the back of the class already knew each other. Naturally, they started talking with their good buddies, and close sisters laughed and chatted happily. The front part of the classroom was mostly filled with new students the school had recruited from outside. During the elementary school graduation exams, the circle of top students in the school underwent another major shuffle. Ultimately, admission into the middle school division was still decided based on their citywide rankings. The boy sitting to my left was a bit reserved, seemingly unaccustomed to the new environment. He finally summoned the courage to greet me. "Hello, I am Song Ji. It's nice to meet you." The boy smiled, waiting for my response. I was a little surprised myself. In 2 lifetimes, this was the first time someone from the top student circle had taken the initiative to greet me. Seeing the boy's expectant face, I also replied, "It's nice to meet you too." Hearing me say that, the boy let out a sigh of relief, revealing a relaxed smile. "This is my first time at Boy Van School. I've only heard others say how beautiful the school is." After speaking, he suddenly remembered I was wearing a gold scarf, and couldn't help but feel a bit awkward. He assumed I was a rich kid who had studied here since childhood, and that his own lack of worldliness would make me look down on him. But then he only heard me say, "It's my first time at this school too. It's truly beautiful." The boy's eyes widened in disbelief, as if he couldn't believe what I said. I suddenly realized Song Ji had arrived quite late, so he probably didn't hear the conversation between me and Chen Yu. So I explained to him, "I used to study elsewhere. This is my first day at Boy Van. I hope we can learn from each other." Hearing this, the boy relaxed his expression a bit and flashed a bright smile. "Okay, I hope we can learn from each other, too." Behind us, With his legs crossed, Chen Yu folded his arms across his chest. Seeing me talking to someone wearing a blue scarf, he let out a foolish laugh. You can only be friends with trash like this. Birds of a feather flock together. After all, Chen Yu's voice wasn't quiet. Plus, no one else in the class was talking loudly, making his words even clearer. Hearing this, my face turned cold. I felt that perhaps I had been too lenient with Chen Yu, which made him so arrogant. I turned back and said to Chen Yu, "Are you saying that you're surrounded by a bunch of bootlicking sycophants?" Hearing this, Chen Yu said angrily, "I didn't say that." I sneered coldly. A sharp glint flashed in my eyes. "Because that's the kind of person you are. Birds of a feather flock together. You said it yourself." After speaking, I turned my head back, not bothering to look at Chen Yu's furious expression. Chen Yu wanted to curse at me, but he was afraid that his words would reach Liu Ru and make her unhappy, so he had to suppress his anger, only glaring at me intensely. Teacher Feng, who was nearby, heard our conversation. Seeing that next to Chen Yu sat all the rich kids, while I sat alone among a group of students with no power or influence, she had already made up her mind. "Student Chen Fan, the classroom needs a more harmonious environment. I hope you won't speak in such a tone," Teacher Feng reprimanded. I snorted coldly. "Ma'am, didn't you hear who provoked first? If you want to maintain classroom discipline, then you should blame the one who started it. Why are you telling me off?" Teacher Feng was left speechless by my words. Her chest heaved. "How can you be so disrespectful to your elders? How did your family raise you?" she said to me angrily. She thought I was just from an ordinary family, or perhaps an illegitimate child from some family, which was why no one hung out with me. The group of rich kids sitting in the back row, hearing Teacher Feng's words, all took a sharp breath in unison. Their gazes towards Teacher Feng held a hint of pity, more so than a smile of someone enjoying a show. I had long found this teacher, who would flirt with the parents of middle schoolers, to be disagreeable. In my past life, she had seduced quite a few of my classmates' parents, all of whom had some money. She even had an affair with a member of the board of directors. With that person backing her, Teacher Feng became even more tyrannical at school, stealing a promotion opportunity from a very excellent teacher to get promoted herself. She also tolerated teachers who, like her, flattered the powerful, oppressing the poor students in the class. The bullying I endured in my previous life was an indirect result of this group of people's actions. Fortunately, the board member's wife later found out, came to the school and caused a huge scene, publicly humiliating her. The school immediately stepped in and fired her. This incident caused a huge uproar. Boy Van School was a top trending topic for several days, its years of accumulated reputation ruined by them. It was said she even intended to use the student Chen Yu to seduce Chen Jie, but Chen's didn't even give her a second glance, which made her give up. Now, this Teacher Feng has provoked me. If I don't show her who she's messing with, I am afraid the farce from my past life will repeat itself. Ma'am, I merely questioned your judgment, and from that, you can discern my upbringing. Did you get into Boy Van thanks to this sharp eye of yours? The sarcasm in my tone was so thick that it left Teacher Feng speechless with anger. After all, she was admitted to Boy Van as a trainee, under the title of an outstanding doctoral graduate. She was already very dissatisfied with teaching middle school students. She just thought that many of Boy Van's parents were powerful and influential people. If she could get involved with one of them, she wouldn't have to worry for the rest of her life. Seeing me disrespect her so blatantly, she became particularly angry. If I don't let these students know how formidable their teacher is, I am afraid I won't be able to manage them later. You've got quite a sharp tongue. Call your parents to come here. I want to see who taught you to be like this. Teacher Feng used the move that scares 90% of all students, calling the parents. She thought that when I heard "call your parents," I would beg her for mercy. Then she could find an excuse to punish me and see who else in class would dare to disobey her. I found it amusing and said, "All right then, go ahead and call them. If you can't reach them, just tell me, and I'll call them for you." Before Teacher Feng could react, Chen Yu in the back stood up and shouted, "No, you can't call our parents." Teacher Feng had originally stood up for Chen Yu, but now Chen Yu was standing up saying not to call the parents. For a moment, she didn't know what to do. My attitude had put her in a difficult position, caught between a rock and a hard place. I chuckled coldly and said, "Teacher, aren't you going to ask him why he won't let you call our parents? Is it that you can't, or that he doesn't dare?" These words made Teacher Feng break out in a cold sweat. She hurriedly looked for a way out for herself. Since student Xiao Yu has said so, then this must be a misunderstanding. If it's a misunderstanding, then there's no need to call the parents. After saying that, she intended to leave. Of course, I wouldn't easily let this matter go like that. Who said it was a misunderstanding? Weren't you saying that because of my words, you felt I had no upbringing? Why don't we call my parents here and ask them how they raised me? My attack made Teacher Feng flinch. She had only used this to threaten me, not expecting that I wouldn't fall for it at all. The classmates were all watching this scene. The students in the back who knew the situation were all very excited. No way. No way. If I really call our parents, wouldn't Chen Zhe come? Chen Yu's eyes turned red with anxiety. If our parents really came, my attitude towards Chen Fan would be exposed. At this moment, he had no choice but to yield to me. All right. It's my fault. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. Are you satisfied now? Seeing him say this, the corner of my mouth lifted into a faint smile. Satisfied enough. I hope you remember what can be said, and what can't. My dear brother, I said, raising an eyebrow. The 3 words, my dear brother, were filled with sarcasm, surprising many of the onlookers. It turned out the situation in the Chen family wasn't what they thought. It turned out I was the one with the upper hand, the young master of the Chen family. Teacher Feng saw that I was finally no longer paying attention to her, and took the opportunity to quickly walk to the podium. The students below, however, no longer respected this homeroom teacher, as they did at the beginning. The top students had seen her fawning over the powerful and her bootlicking attitude towards Chen Yu, and the wealthy circle knew she had offended me and would probably not have a good ending. After all, the personality of this 4th young master of the Chen family didn't seem like someone who was easy to bully. The first fire he lit upon entering the world of the elite, who knows who it might burn. Teacher Feng saw the student's state, and the smile on her face was about to crumble. Students, this morning you will get to know each other. After lunch, you can go back to the dorms to rest. Remember to gather back in class in the afternoon. We will go for training together. After speaking, she didn't dare to stay any longer and took her things back to the office. At this moment, the classroom was buzzing. Everyone gathered in small groups, starting to discuss all sorts of topics. Among them was the topic of me and Chen Yu. Although everyone tried to avoid Chen Yu, the classroom was only so big, and he could still hear people's discussions. Chen Yu's expression was about to break. He stood up with a loud thud, shoved his chair forward violently, and walked straight out the back door. Chen Yu's lackeys hesitated for a moment, then followed him out. Seeing him leave, the rich kids in the back row began to discuss even more openly. This isn't like what I heard. You weren't the rumors saying this supposed fake young master was being pampered by Chen Yu? What's going on? A gossiping female student said. Another, leaning on her desk, said sarcastically, the bluff failed. Have you guys not seen the madam of the Chen family? Chen Fan looks exactly like her. Hearing her say that, the other girl got excited. Hey, are you saying that Chen Fan is the real young master of the Chen family, and Chen Yu isn't? Didn't everyone say before that Chen Fan was an illegitimate child? The girl leaning on the desk felt her friend was very naive. Haven't you heard about the real and fake young master story? There's definitely some inside story with the Chen family. I mean, look, none of the Chen children are unattractive. Does Chen Yu look like his father or his mother? He doesn't look like either of them. Okay. I used to think the good genes of the Chen family ended with Chen Jing. The girl's eyes lit up hearing this. Wow, so you're saying Chen Fan is the real young master of the Chen family? Then what the hell is Chen Yu? The girl leaning on her desk pouted, feeling her friend's information was too outdated. It's already spread all over the Rose Villas. The Chen family originally planned to send Chen Yu away, but Madame Chen stepped in to keep him. She must have grown attached. A student sitting in front of them heard this, shook her head, and clicked her tongue. I am afraid Chen Yu's arrogant days are coming to an end. The other girl was about to say something, but she felt the surroundings suddenly go quiet. She looked up and saw me standing right in front of her, and her outstretched arms were blocking my way. She immediately retracted her arms and sat up straight. Goosebumps broke out all over her body, and a cold sweat was about to trickle down her back. After I left with my new friend, she let out a long sigh of relief. Turning her head, she saw her friend beside her trying to hold back laughter. The girl saw that her friend looked angry and quickly apologized. My bad. I shouldn't have laughed. Don't be mad anymore. Seeing her friend apologizing and pleading like that, the tall girl's anger subsided. Meanwhile, I followed Song Jie, following the school's signs to the cafeteria. Boy Van's cafeteria is famously delicious. Song Ji looked at the dining hall in front of him, which looked like a convention center, and stood there with his mouth agape. Let's go, I said to Song Ji beside me. After speaking, I headed towards the area I considered the best. Song Ji felt a little worried. After all, there were rumors that the second-floor cafeteria was very expensive. If he spent so much money right at the start of the semester, he would probably have to tighten his belt later. I glanced to the side and sensed his unease. After a moment's thought, I knew the reason. Let's be friends. Let me treat you to a meal. Song Ji looked up, his eyes brightening. Really? That's not very nice of me. I heard the second floor is very expensive. Let's just split the bill. I smiled gently. It's not that expensive. Besides, my meal card has a lot of money on it. I couldn't spend it all by myself even if I ate until graduation. The Sichuan restaurant was near the stairs. After taking our seats, I handed the menu straight to Song Ji. Song Ji flipped through a few pages, but didn't know what to order. In the end, he still let me order. I didn't refuse this time, and directly ordered the spicy chicken I wanted to eat. After eating our fill, the two of us sat resting in the booth. Song Ji just sighed. I am so full. I am stuffed too. I don't usually eat this much. It's rare to get a meal like this today, so I ordered everything I wanted to eat, I said, rubbing my stomach. Song Ji felt I wasn't like what everyone in class said, nor like the rich young masters at Boy Van that he had heard about. I had a very good personality. At 2 p.m., when the students arrived in the classroom, everyone was basically ready at their seats, prepared to wait for the class instructors to arrive and tell them to go down and assemble. It was an old tradition at Boy Van. Each class had 3 instructors, 1 head instructor, and 2 assistant instructors. The head instructor was responsible for planning the training and overall coordination. The assistant instructors were responsible for supervising students to complete tasks and, most importantly, ensuring the students' safety. The 7th graders' outdoor activity was set in the city's southern forest park. There were several mountain ranges that together formed an ecological reserve. Getting lost in it could mean walking for days. The school chose this place as the training location for the first year of middle school, which held great significance for training. The school had previously sent a notice that each person could only bring 1 bag. Not long after, the sound of uniformed footsteps echoed in the hallway. The army unit stationed in City S and Boy Van School had cooperated for many years. They were responsible for the annual outdoor training activity. This was also the reason why the rich kids of Boy Van treated the training with particular seriousness. The soldiers in the army were not people who just went through the motions. They didn't care about your status. Their mission was to ensure the training was completed effectively. Teacher Feng gave up her spot at the podium, standing in the front corner of the classroom. The 3 instructors marched in unison to the podium and simultaneously turned to face all the students. The instructors had serious faces, their tanned faces full of determination, looking like they were not to be trifled with. Those who were usually arrogant and unruly were now like little chicks, sitting obediently in their seats. Hello, students. I am the one responsible for class 7-1. During this outdoor training, head instructor Zhang Ba. On the left is assistant instructor Lai Hang, and on the right is assistant instructor Peng Qingbing. The tallest instructor standing in the middle introduced them simply. The 2 instructors he named also stepped forward to greet everyone with a nod. A sharp light glinted in the head instructor's keen eyes. This training mission must be completed excellently. A class is a collective. No one is allowed to fall behind. Do you understand? Scattered replies echoed in the classroom. Instructor Zhang's gaze hardened. I hope that every time you answer my question, you can show your most energetic spirit. Otherwise, I can interpret it as you not taking this training seriously. When the final ranking comes out, it will be reflected in your grade. Do you understand? Understood. The whole class reported in unison. The summer camp ranking is the foundation of the total score for the entire year. Grade A is 100%, Grade B is 80%, Grade C is 60%. Anything below C is a fail. Failing the final training will disqualify you from having your annual score calculated. The corresponding percentage for each grade is multiplied by the total score of all subjects in the academic year. To get the total score for the year, Boy Van School pursues a wolf-style education. Scores for each academic year are ranked from first to last place, all listed clearly. The children of S City's elite families basically all study at Boy Van. Therefore, Boy Van's academic ranking list is an important topic at parent gatherings. If they don't want their allowance cut, these rich kids must give 100% effort to complete the training. The top students took it even more seriously than these rich kids, because Boy Van School's scholarship was very generous. Besides covering all tuition and other fees, there was even more than half left over. It was a legitimate money-making opportunity. That was very important. Hearing everyone's energetic response, Instructor Zhang was very satisfied. One could even see on his tense face the corner of his mouth lift into a faint smile. I always felt that this instructor was not someone who could be easily fooled. I also had to give 120% effort to complete the training. Emphasizing the final point, your most important task is to pay attention to safety. Do you hear me? Under the arrangement of the assistant instructors, everyone orderly put on their bags and went downstairs. After everyone had assembled, the principal gave an extremely brief motivational speech. Just when everyone thought they could get on the bus, they heard the instructor's uniform command. Open your backpacks. Experienced students knew there would be a bag check. Boy Van's training handbook stated very clearly that snacks, phones, game consoles, and other items were not allowed. If discovered, they would be immediately confiscated, but that couldn't stop people from wanting to challenge the rules every year. Previously, the checks were always done in the classroom. Unexpectedly, this year they were checking bags right before departure. This time, those who had been feeling lucky all changed their expressions. The instructors moved through the neat rows of students, assisted by metal detectors, and quickly rummaged through the students' backpacks. If you hid a few pieces of candy or some chocolate, you naturally wouldn't be found out. But chips and large bags of cookies had nowhere to hide. Very quickly, the basket next to each class was piled high with items, soft drinks, phones, game consoles, you name it. After all the teams were inspected, the instructors took the items from each class basket and poured them into a container, sealed it, and handed it over to the school. After everything was done, the instructors then gave the order to board the buses one by one. The students, as if a great weight had been lifted, quickly ran onto their class bus, enjoying the cool breeze from the long-running air conditioner, blowing away the heat on their heads. The bus rolled away cheerfully, heading towards everyone's destination. The Southern Forest Park wasn't far from the school. The bus arrived after only a half-hour drive. The students reluctantly got off the bus to assemble. Outdoor training is NT like regular training or social gatherings. There are usually no groups. One class is one team. Therefore, after the instructor finished the roll call and assigned this afternoon's destination, which was to hike to the forest park's west campsite, the team immediately lined up in a long column and set off. Although the school intended to train the students, it couldn't joke around with the students' lives. Each training location either had an existing campsite, or the army would send people to a suitable location to set up a campsite for the students to sleep at night. The forest park, originally a paradise for outdoor enthusiasts, was required to have campsites. But for the Boy Van School training staff, the park and the army together had conducted a sweep of people in the forest park, ensuring that during the Boa Van students' training period, there would be no incidents. The first afternoon was just a walk from the outer ring to the campsite. The difficulty level wasn't high, because the outer ring of the forest park usually has quite a few visitors. The development is relatively complete. Everyone walked quite comfortably. Around 4 or 5 inches the afternoon, everyone arrived at the campsite. This whole crowd, if they weren't spoiled since childhood, then they were the types who buried their heads in books all year round. Barely anyone had good physical fitness. Just a walk of less than 2 hours had left them exhausted. When I arrived, quite a lot of supplies were already piled up there. Next to them were several parked ambulances that had come up from the other side. After all the classes finished their roll call, they gathered in their designated open areas. After waiting for the class representatives to get the supplies, they were distributed to everyone. Their class open area was neither too far nor too close to the supply pile. Among the 7 classes, my class was considered to be in the middle. The forest park's campsite area was very large. Since the vegetation in this area wasn't too lush, and it was near the edge of the forest, it was relatively safe. Therefore, it was developed by the park, specifically for camping. There was even a simple shower facility here, right near the supply pickup point. The silver-white building in the back was it. For the next 2 days, I got water, used the restroom, and showered there. This environment wasn't bad, but it still made these kids, who had never endured hardship, complain incessantly. The people who went to get the supplies quickly returned. In total, they got 10 tents and 5 outdoor pots, stands and pots. Those behind them carried a basket of things. Inside were various cooking ingredients. Everyone, assemble. Instructor Zhang gave the order, and the group that was lazily complaining immediately straightened up, forming a square formation. I'll call out the names. 3 people to a tent. 2 tents will share 1 pot. After you're divided, set up your own tents. After reporting to the assistant instructor, you can assign your own tasks. Prepare dinner. Understood? Understood. The students' synchronized shout echoed throughout the forest, startling a flock of birds into flight. I, Xiao Jibo, and Fang Yuan were in one tent. Xiao Jibo was a Blue Division student, and Fang Yuan was a Gold Division student, and Fang Yuan was one of my few friends in City S in my past life. He was also the one who exposed how Chen Yu slandered me in front of others. Fang Yuan himself was also someone at school who wasn't very popular. Because his family wasn't a top-tier wealthy family, his father had only recently joined the elite circles of City S. In my previous life, he and I were very close. I knew that during the camping trip, we would have a chance to talk, so I wasn't in a hurry to greet him this morning. The other guy in the tent, Xiao Jibo, was the representative figure for the Blue Division students. Xiao Jibo got into Boy Van School through his own academic efforts. He was very resentful that the children of wealthy families could easily get into the school, and yet didn't cherish the school's resources. He felt extremely indignant. In my previous life, Fang Yuan and I were ostracized by the wealthy circle, and the group of top students led by Xiao Jibo also treated us coldly. Although they didn't bully us like the wealthy group, They stood on the sidelines and watched the show, using cold violence to show their contempt for us. A person with extremely high self-esteem like Xiao Jibo, who was also extremely confident because of his good grades, I could understand him to some extent, but he relied on the resources of the Gold Division students to ostracize us, which was just speechless. A Xiao Jibo like that, in my eyes, was just like Chen Yu, and that gang of bullies who relied on their power, no different at all. One side was truly powerful, the other was just posturing. In this regard, Xiao Jibo was even worse than Chen Yu. I didn't show anything on my face. I just followed Fang Yuan to get the tent. At this time, Fang Yuan's personality was still very open, always wearing a bright smile on his face. Do you guys know how to set up a tent? Xiao Jibo followed behind the two of them, looking for a chance to chime in. The rich kids from the Gold Division had their own aura. The two of them naturally walked together. Xiao Jibo, who was always praised by everyone at school, was a little unhappy about being left out. It's easy. I often go camping with my dad. When Fang Yuan heard his question, he quickly replied, "Oh, is that so? That's great then. I've never been in a tent before." Xiao Jibo's expression was a little awkward. He thought these two wealthy young masters didn't know how to do anything. If I studied it a bit and managed to set it up, perhaps they would be like my previous classmates and praise me. But the result wasn't what Xiao Jibo expected. In my previous life, although I wasn't close to the Chen family, I still had to participate in family outdoor activities, like this one. The children of the Chen family each had their own tent. Everyone was the same, so I also knew how to set up a tent. Fang Yuan and I worked together, and soon the tent was set up, on the open ground where they had just been standing. Several other tents also appeared one by one around them. The tent next to mine happened to be Song Ji's. Our two groups shared one pot. After a simple division of labor, Fang Yuan and I went to gather firewood. Song Jie, and another male student from his tent, went to wash vegetables and get water, while Xiao Jibo and another male student were in charge of preparing dinner. Everyone went to the assistant instructor, and after reporting their tasks, they dispersed in different directions. Fang Yuan and I went to a place far from the crowd, where there were quite a few dry branches on the ground. The two of them quickly gathered enough dry firewood for dinner. I also gathered some dry grass to start the fire. Suddenly, the two of them heard a blood-curdling scream up ahead. The two of them hurriedly ran over to see. A girl was lying on her back on the ground, clutching her leg. The girl next to her was pale with fear. "Snake. There's a snake." The girl next to her came to her senses and shouted towards us. When I ran over, I saw a winding black shadow flash by. I immediately guessed what had happened. I put down the firewood in my hands and quickly ran to the girl on the ground. The girl's brows were tightly furrowed, and beads of sweat covered her forehead. I removed her hand that was tightly gripping the wound, and discovered on her leg, next to two puncture marks, the area had already turned slightly dark. "This snake is venomous." I hurriedly rolled up her pant leg, swiped my hand across my belt, and when I raised my hand again, a sharp glint of light flashed from my fingertips. I just saw my palm flip over. My finger moved slightly, and a golden needle was already firmly embedded in the girl's leg. The two people standing nearby watched in a daze. They were surprised that I had a needle on me, and they also couldn't see clearly how that needle had been stuck into her leg. Seeing the two of them stunned, my gaze turned cold. "Aren't you going to call the school doctor?" The girl next to her snapped back to reality, turned around, and ran quickly towards the campsite. Dang Yuan still didn't quite understand the situation. He just saw me looking around for something. Before he could open his mouth to ask, I had already stood up and walked straight in one direction. I was seen bending down and parting the grass, pulling up a small purple flower from the ground, roots and all. With a slight movement of my finger, the pinkish-purple flower head fell to the ground. I forcefully crushed the flower's stem and leaves in my palm, then took the crushed green stem and leaves, and applied them to the snakebite wound. While observing the condition of the person on the ground, I waited for the school doctor to arrive, although I also had a way to help her. Detoxify. The method was quite complicated. Since the school chose this place as a campsite, the school's medical office would certainly have antidotes for the common venomous species found here, such as antivenom serum. I used a golden needle to block the blood vessels above, which greatly slowed the blood circulation, but this wasn't a long-term solution. This needle has blocked the blood flow in this leg, and if left for too long, it will cause damage to the leg. But the girl from just now didn't disappoint me. After waiting for just a moment, I saw her leading two medical staff running over. The medical staff carried the girl back on a stretcher. I followed them the whole way, gently placing my hand on the girl's snake-bitten leg, to hide the traces of the golden needle. The medical staff saw that I wasn't obstructing anything, and just thought that I was worried about my classmate, so they didn't shoo me away. The group quickly arrived at the school doctor's tent. A young female doctor in a white coat was already waiting at the entrance. Seeing that person's face, my eyes narrowed, and I quickly withdrew my hand and stood to the side. "Bai Ningbing, How could I have forgotten about her? Bai Ningbing was only 28 years old, but she was the person in charge of Boivan School's medical center, which showed just how profound her skills were. In the previous life, their acquaintance took place in Kapok City, where I attended university. She accidentally witnessed Yi Shenyi's acupuncture technique and immediately begged Yi Shenyi to teach her, but at that time, Yi Shenyi already had me as his direct disciple. Moreover, the forces behind Bai Ningbing were arrogant and complex, and he didn't want to pass the Yi family's medical arts to outsiders. This was an ancestral rule. Accepting me as his last disciple was because the Yi family had no heirs. If he didn't pass it on to a disciple with supreme talent, the Yi family's acupuncture technique would be lost. In front of Bai Ningbing, I didn't want to reveal too much. It would be very difficult to explain who I learned my acupuncture technique from, so I had to do my best to hide the traces of the golden needle. I said to Fang Yuan beside me, "She's fine now, let's go." With that, I pulled Fang Yuan and ran off. Bai Ningbing watched my small figure running away, a thoughtful glint flashing in her deep eyes. If she wasn't mistaken. Not thinking too much about it, Bai Ningbing told someone to carry the injured student inside. She asked the girl next to her in a cold voice, "Do you remember what the snake that bit her looked like?" The girl tried to calm herself down, recalled it, and described the image in her head. After hearing her words, Bai Ningbing made a judgment, told her assistant to prepare the antivenom, and then went into the tent to check the girl's wound. As soon as Bai Ningbing entered, she heard her assistant whisper, "That's strange. The venom didn't seem to spread much on the way here. Why is it spreading so quickly?" Now, Bai Ningbing looked at the girl. The dark bruise was slowly spreading upwards from the wound. She noticed on the girl's wound, there seemed to be some residue left. Wiping it with a sterilized hand, there was indeed a dark green streak left. There was something on the wound before, wasn't there? Bai Ningbing turned her head to ask the assistant beside her. Yes, some herbs were applied. With that, she handed what was in the nearby dish to Bai Ningbing. The assistant came from a Western clinical medicine background, so it was normal for her not to recognize this. But Bai Ningbing was not only proficient in Western medicine, she also had considerable knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine. After one sniff, she recognized the shapeless thing in the dish. It's Ban Bian Lian, an herb that slows the onset of snake venom. Bai Ningbing recalled the small figure avoiding her gaze just now, along with the flash of light from his hand, and she roughly understood. He's probably the child of some traditional Chinese medicine family. But I haven't heard of any powerful traditional Chinese medicine families in City S, other than the XIF family. Bai Ningbing didn't think too deeply. She was just surprised that a child over 10 years old could handle these matters so promptly. Aside from that wonderful vessel-sealing acupuncture technique, a single needle could maximally inhibit the spread of the snake venom. But the powers within Boivan were complex and intertwined, so she currently lacked the ability to intentionally investigate a student's information. On one hand, Bai Ningbing's hands and feet were quickly treating the girl's wound, while on the other, these thoughts flashed through her mind. On the other side, I pulled Fang Yuan and ran back to where we were before. Fang Yuan panted as he followed me. How do you know all this? Fang Yuan found it unbelievable. He's clearly the same age as me. How can he be so capable? Is the fourth young master of the Chen family that powerful? I studied a bit with an old Chinese medicine doctor when I was young. Don't tell anyone. I am still not very good at it, I said to Fang Yuan while bending down to pick up the firewood on the ground. Fang Yuan nodded vigorously. He knew that in wealthy families, the most frightening thing was attracting trouble. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone. The two of them returned to the campsite with the firewood, where the other four had already prepared all the vegetables. What took you so long? Songji said as he watched the two of them return. We went a bit far, gathered too much firewood. It was a bit heavy, so we walked a little slower. Fang Yuan smiled and apologized to the four of them. Of course, the four of them didn't blame them. The timing was just right. Their side had also just finished preparing the ingredients. Fang Yuan had extensive camping experience and quickly started a fire. The two people in charge of cooking were fumbling around with the cooking. Since none of them had cooking experience, they planned to use the distributed ingredients to make hot pot. The instructor was off to one side, watching the students fumbling in front of him, and pouted. Pang Chengbing walked up to Zhang Bohu, who was leaning against a tree with a blade of grass in his mouth, and scanned the whole field with his eyes. Captain, tell me, why is the treatment for these brats so good? They have meat if they want meat, and vegetables if they want vegetables. This doesn't look like training at all. Zhang Bohu took the blade of grass out of his mouth, glanced at him, and said nonchalantly, "Don't you know tomorrow's training item?" Pang Chengbing giggled and walked away. The students complaining about the cooking still didn't know what kind of hellish regime was awaiting them tomorrow. Everyone fumbled their way through dinner. They took turns showering by class order, preparing to rest well for tomorrow's challenge. I knew what tomorrow's training content was. After all, The content after each annual training session was always a hot topic among students for a while. Last time, when I was still in middle school, this training session attracted special attention because an instructor made a mistake. I cherished my sleep time now, so after showering, I lay down on the innermost side to sleep. When Fang Yuan saw me on the innermost side, he lay down next to me, becoming the person between me and Xiao Jibo. Xiao Jibo didn't dare fight for the shower, with these wealthy young masters, waiting until they were done before he went in. When he got back to the tent, he found the two of them already lying inside, leaving only the outermost spot for him. Xiao Jibo clenched his fists, but still lay down. The night passed without incident. Early the next morning, the instructor's piercing whistle jolted everyone from their deep sleep. All the tents were opened, revealing heads from inside. Peeking out, everyone's eyes were still sleepy. I looked out through the tent flap that Xiao Jibo had opened, and saw that it was just dawn outside, probably around 5 or 6 a.m. Wake up, wash up, pack up, assemble in half an hour. Hearing the instructor's command, everyone quickly got dressed and ran to yesterday's shower area. There were many faucets there. If you were late, you'd have to wait. More than half the students here had over 6 years of outdoor training experience, so the meaning of packing up wasn't just about washing your face and brushing your teeth. Outdoors, it also included taking down the tent and packing luggage. Half an hour, if you weren't quick, you'd be left behind. Half an hour later, the previously chaotic crowd had now assembled into 7 small formations, being inspected by the instructor. Zhang Bo, who walked among the student ranks, making sure the tents, stoves, and other supplies distributed last night were all packed up. Then he ordered the team to march. The students walked in single file, gradually changing from a square formation into a long line. Everyone had changed into comfortable sportswear, ready to face the toughest day of the training. After walking for about an hour, everyone saw at the foot of a not-so-distant mountain that there were many vehicles parked. The instructor led them over. 15 minutes to finish breakfast, assemble and depart again in 15 minutes. It turned out these were their breakfast trucks for the day. Breakfast was very simple, only buns, steamed bread, and soy milk. But thankfully, everything was hot. Many people didn't eat properly last night, so they were starving now. A breakfast that would normally feel plain was now a worldly delicacy. Pork and white cabbage buns, a filling that most people could eat. If you really couldn't eat it, you could have steamed bread. During training, you couldn't blame your usual pampered habits. I, on the other hand, didn't think it was a big deal. Training with the school was much easier than practicing medicine deep in the mountains by myself. At least the school guaranteed 3 meals a day for the students and their safety. After finishing the simple breakfast, everyone set off and continued forward. According to the instructor's warning, today's campsite was deep in the mountains, very far away, and if they didn't pick up the pace, they wouldn't be able to continue at night for safety reasons and would really have to sleep out in the wilderness. Everyone came here for training, not for wilderness survival. Already feeling the conditions were very tough, they naturally wouldn't make things harder for themselves. Although carrying their luggage for a long time was very heavy, everyone gritted their teeth and persevered. Not a single person fell behind. Gradually, some students who were usually lazy about exercising started to slow down, falling far behind their original positions. Because the march had to be in a single file line, their positions could go from the front of the line at the beginning to gradually ending up at the back of the line. Among them was Chen Yu, who normally disliked exercising, as well as bookworms like Xiao Jibo and others. As for those who usually liked playing basketball or enjoyed adventure sports, outdoor sports, the students who weren't prominent at school were now at the front of the team, including me, who was as skinny as a chick just 2 months ago. The instructor looked at me and praised me admiringly. Because my nutrition hadn't caught up, my physical condition was weaker than my peers, but I was the most determined one. It was clear from my expression and the sweat on my forehead that one could tell that I was also struggling a lot right now, but I didn't slow down at all, always maintaining my position in the middle to front part of the team. I thought back to my previous life, when I really couldn't bear it. I fell to the back of the line and was blamed by classmates who were afraid of being held back, of not reaching the campsite in time. I desperately tried to keep up with everyone's pace, but because I was often the last to arrive, I was still resented by my classmates. In this life, I worked hard to train my body, and although my foundation is still a bit weak, I must perform better than in my previous life. At least I have to be stronger than those who didn't do well themselves in the previous life, but needed to put me down to feel superior. The sun grew increasingly harsh, and the training path wasn't always covered by the shade of trees. Everyone now had the scorching sun overhead, and was trudging forward on muddy ground. Marching with heavy loads for a whole morning was a huge drain of energy for everyone. Persevere. Don't give up. The instructor occasionally used slogans to encourage everyone. The 3 instructors were at the front, middle, and end of the line, walking alongside the team, observing the students' condition in real time. The person in charge of the rear was Lai Hang. These last few people were the ones with the worst physical fitness and endurance. Lai Hang constantly had to remind them to keep their distance, stay close to the students ahead, and not let them fall behind. Like a mother hen herding her chicks. When he saw the spacious clearing ahead, Li Hang knew that this mother hen can finally rest for a while. The whole group rest in place under the tree up ahead. It was like hearing the music of the gods. The exhausted students immediately perked up. They sped up towards the ancient tree not far away. Those in the back could only struggle to keep up. At this moment, everyone, one by one, they plopped onto the ground, forgetting all about their image, enjoying the cool shade provided by the ancient tree. At a time like this, who would care if there were ants or insects on the ground? The more carefree ones were already lying flat on their backs. I also sat cross-legged on the ground, placing my backpack behind me to lean on and rest comfortably. So tiring, even though I went through this in my past life many times and was mentally prepared, but actually walking it again, I still have to sigh at how exhausting it is. Besides, the lunch break wasn't going to be pleasant either. I smirked mockingly at myself. The classmates who followed me to get supplies yesterday, the instructor called a few male students. The eyes of the remaining people lit up with anticipation. As for me, I just closed my eyes, letting myself lean against the backpack, seemingly without any expectations for what was to come. As the supply team returned, cries of disappointment erupted from the crowd. What is this? A male student couldn't help but yell in disappointment. It turned out the supply team had only brought back a few tiny boxes, even though the students were prepared to cook another meal themselves. But what was brought back once again fell short of their expectations. Students, open fires are not allowed at the picnic campsite. Forest fire prevention is everyone's responsibility. Instructor Zhang said to the crowd with a serious face. We are far from the main road now. We have to get to the campsite before a large amount of supplies can be delivered by vehicle. These things for lunch today may be simple, but they were personally carried up here by the other instructors. No wasting. Each person gets one compressed biscuit and one bottle of mineral water. Eat it on the spot. After eating, you can rest for over half an hour to save energy for the long journey this afternoon. I casually took a biscuit as well. After a bite, I realized it was sesame flavored. Actually, the biscuit didn't taste bad. It was just incredibly dry. Normal people wouldn't eat this stuff. The students participating in the grade 2 training for the first time also didn't expect their lunch to be this. Wen's training camp occasionally changes locations. Furthermore, students are explicitly forbidden from revealing the training's content, so if you don't experience it yourself, it's very hard for me to know the training activities. Even if you knew, last year's activities might change this year. This is an unspoken rule among Wen students. No one refused to eat just because it wasn't tasty. It's truly difficult for wealthy families to produce useless good-for-nothings. Everyone knew what replenishing their energy meant for them. This half hour was very quiet. This silence lasted until they set off again. Chen Yu felt like he really couldn't go on. His buddies beside him were dragging their feet, each looking more miserable than the last. He wanted to find an excuse to rest for a bit, but he couldn't be the one to suggest it, because all breaks were group activities. You couldn't fall behind. If he took a break and couldn't reach the destination, he would become the sinner of the entire class. He didn't want to bear that potential consequence. Gently turning his head, he glanced at the lackey behind him. An idea had already formed in Chen Yu's mind. His footsteps became more and more rhythmic. The person behind could only keep up with him. The accident happened right at this moment. On a sloped path, the person behind him suddenly fell backward. No one saw what caused it. Instructor, Huang Shi is not doing well. Let's rest for a bit. He's exhausted to the point of fainting. Chen Yu quickly spoke up, using his gaze to stop Huang Shiji's questioning gesture. What's wrong? The instructor at the back of the line quickly came over. Chen Yu's friend saw through his motive. He was also very tired. If that's the case, might as well go along with him. I can also get some rest. Instructor, I've been walking for too long. My head feels a bit dizzy. My legs gave out, so I fell. Huang Shiji's voice was so weak that it made Lai Hang frown deeply. The commotion at the back had attracted the attention of Instructor Zhang Bohu. He ordered the entire team to halt, and went to the back himself to check the situation. Seeing Zhang Bohu approaching, Li Hang quickly explained the current situation. Zhang Bohu heaved a heavy sigh. I didn't expect this batch of students to have such poor stamina. He announced another half-hour rest. Drink some more water. After half an hour, you must keep up with the team. After saying that, he turned and walked to the front of the line to announce this decision. The crowd at this moment was not at all happy about getting to rest.